For over 50 years, Jaffa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today. When your project can't afford downtime, call Jaffa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Jaffa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit JaffaEquipment.com or stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Lux Windows was founded in 1969 with 5 people and a dream. 55 years later, our team of experts cares a whole lot about building and installing the best possible windows and doors. Because Lux is not just an Alberta-made product. We're one big Alberta-made family. Everything we are, windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Jason Gregor Show.
They're in field goal range, of course, but looking for more here. 47 seconds to go. A look to the end zone. Touchdown, Edmonton. Austin Mack.
On Sports 1440.
Second and 4. More pressure coming. Bajard to the end zone again. Edmonton touchdown. Keon Julian Grant has another.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Shoulder up. Gets away from his man. Shoulder up, and he's lifted it up.
He plummeted again.
Afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. I hope you are having a lovely Monday afternoon. Man, is it ever nice to have a few days of sun. Kind of forget how awesome it is walking around. It's not wet, not having to worry about anything else. You can actually get outside and enjoy it. It has been awesome. So very much looking forward to the week. And hey, if you're thinking Elks on Thursday, the weather looks fantastic. Around 23 degrees, sunny. Should be a beautiful night of football as the Elks look to rebound after suffering their first loss of the season. They're still in a very good position, but you don't want to waste a good start. Now you're at home. You're taking on the winless Ottawa Red Blacks. This is a game that they will want to bounce back in. And Cody Fajardo will join us at 4 o'clock today to talk about all things green and gold. Offensively, where they're at, what do they like, what didn't they like? Struggled running the ball. That was, I think, that was pretty obvious in that game. So we'll see where they go from here now. Coming up on Thursday evening. If you want to go, we got some tickets we will give away throughout the show today, courtesy of Elks Nation. We got a few pairs to give away. So you can always get to the game. It should be a perfect night for football, man. And honestly, Elks fans should be excited. Right? Even in games where they don't play their best, they're right in there. So that's a positive. The World Cup continues on. Of course, Spain and Portugal going at it right now. And no score at halftime. Later on tonight, we'll have USA and Belgium in the red card drama game, as we call it, something unprecedented that we've never really seen. Rescinding. So usually you get a red card, you miss the next game. But not now. I'll be honest, I don't really get it. So we'll see what this will mean for soccer. You've got a lot of people frustrated about it, so it'll be it's quite a wild topic. We got AJ Jakubek. He will join us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour today. Spec, Cody Fajardo, Kevin Woodley. We are going to break down with Woodley the goaltending now. What do you know about Devin Levi? What do you need to know? Freddie Anderson, who spoke today for the first time, he will join us as well. We got Jordan Hall. We're gonna talk Anaheim and Philadelphia and get both sides in the first hour, because that's a pretty big story in the National Hockey League. Leo Carlsson, they have until Friday to match the offer sheet. 5 years, $18 million. And how much did the Minchikov contract potentially change things for the Ducks? Like, honestly, I don't understand that contract. Why is he getting paid $7.4 million? Why? Now, I'm guessing because they were worried of an offer sheet coming for him. And so to me, this is what happens sometimes, that they panicked. They felt like, you know what? You know, they said all along, we're going to match any offer sheet. So that's the other thing. What if you don't match? Now you're going back on your word, because you can't come out all gusto and say something and then everybody say, well, you said you match any offer sheet. Is it a crazy offer sheet? Damn right it is. $18 million, man, for a guy who's never scored 70 points. Young player. And I like Leo Carlsson. Do I think he's going to be a 70, 80, maybe 90-point guy? Yeah. But I can't say for certain he's going to be a 100-point player. 100-point players are pretty rare in the National Hockey League. How rare? We'll get to our stats of the day coming up a little bit later on. Just to put it in perspective, because I think at times, especially if you're in Edmonton, you probably look and say, well, 100 points, man. You almost might take it for granted. Almost. Because there is a lot of guys, well, two specifically, McDavid and Draisaitl, who do it pretty much annually. Right? Like last year in the NHL, do you know how many players scored 100 points? 8. And now 3 did it for the first time in their career. And 100 points, because there's 2 extra games, we might see a little bit of an uptick of 1 or 2 more guys. We had an 84-game season before, twice in the National Hockey League. And one of those years we saw an increase in scoring. That was it. 1 year. Didn't happen the next year. So we'll see. But McDavid, Kucherov, McKinnon, those guys have always, not always, but they've been pretty consistent multiple times, 100-point guys. Macklin Celebrini did it for the first time. A lot of people expect that he's going to do it again. We'll see. But what about Scheifele and Suzuki? Are they going to do it again? 100% certain they'll do it again? So we'll get into that on Leo Carlsson. Whoever gets him, Ducks or Flyers, you're getting a massive overpay. You just are. Now, you might like the player and you might like the future potential, but make no mistake, he's going to be the highest paid player in the NHL next season, and he's not the best player. He's not even in the top 10. He's not. Right? Like, he could improve next year. He might get to be a point-a-game player, which is still really good. But that does make an $18 million player. So we'll discuss that. Oiler news. The Oilers, some signings. Mock-Madulin signs 2-year deal, 1.75. Stastny signs a deal at $1.5 million. You also get Owen Michael at $900K for the Edmonton Oilers. So they've got now. Do I think Michael's going to be here? No, I don't think for a sec he's going to be there. They got too many forwards. Right? You look at Kirby Dach's not even signed yet, and when Kirby Dach signed, that'll give him 14 forwards. So I think it'll be they'll be hard pressed for him to get a spot in the lineup. Right? You throw in Michael Owen, Max Jones. He's going to be battling. I'm not even sure he's going to make the team. So it'll be tough. Like I fully expect Owen Michaels to be in the minors. And what's interesting about Owen Michaels' contract is that it's a one-way deal. There's no minors, or no, that's not true. Sorry, there's minors this year, but none next year. So first year the deal is a two-way, and then next year is a one-way. And this comes back to me at times. I think the free agent out of the NCAA has become one of the most overhyped assets in hockey. Right? Like to get a guaranteed contract in your second year when you've never played in the NHL, like I don't know how good he's going to be. Right? He's played 3 years at Western Michigan. Last year he had 26 points in 39 games. The year before he had 36 in 42 games. So kind of took a step back. How close is he to being an NHLer? Now, I only saw him for a short period of time in practice. But when I watched him in practice, he looked like a player, has a long way to go to be an NHL player. Because it is hard, man. It is really hard. Doesn't mean he can't get there, but it's a challenge. But that's the part of when you have a player who's an NCAA player, usually you overpay to get them. Right? That's just how it works. You overpay to get them. And that's what the Oilers did. It's not massive, but your owner has to be on board. You don't want a ton of guys in the minors on one-way deals. You just don't. But the back end for the Oilers, right now, I'd argue they have 9 defensemen battling for jobs because I wouldn't count out Alec Regula at all. Like, I don't think Stastny is a clear head and shoulders better than Alec Regula, right? I don't. So if you look at the Oilers' blue line, right now they have 8 defensemen. Bouchard, Ekholm, Murphy, Wallman, Shea, Mock-Medulin. Those 6, I think, are set. Now, Ty Emberson would be 6. Then Mock-Medulin 7. Spencer Stastny would be 8. Now, funny enough, Ty Emberson makes the least of those 8 at $1.3 million. He's not a stone-cold mortal lock to be the third pair right defense, but I really liked his game last year. On a team that struggled, Ty Emberson's numbers, his underlying numbers were very good. And most importantly, he gets scored on a ton. Now, he doesn't play a huge amount of minutes against the other team's best guys. So, you always have to, look at everything. You can't just look at goals for percentage. Quality of competition does matter. And a great site to look at that is Puck IQ, right? It has Emberson played 24% of his minutes against elite players and then 37% of his time against middle and bottom end guys, right? Which is kind of normal for a third pair defenseman. But his numbers against the elite players were actually bang on, in his dangerous Fenwick was bang on against elite, 47.6, 47.6 against middle, 47.8. Basically the exact same. Right now, the only difference is his goals against was a little bit lower against the elite guys. Not a surprise, right? 9 goals for, 10 goals against. He was 11-7 versus middle, 13-11 versus grid. So not a surprise, really. But Emerson almost broke even against elite players, playing 24% of his time. I liked the season overall. I had no issues with it. So, Mock-Medulin comes in. He's the new guy you acquired for Darnell Nurse. I understand how it works. But he's a lefty, and Emerson's a righty. And the one thing is, I don't think the coach is going to say, well, we're going to play this guy because we traded for that guy. No, you're going to play who you think is going to give you the best opportunity. So get to all that. Also, we'll take your text, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Declan Cougar here, Donovan Balson. And Deck, what were your thoughts on the Elks and the run play? Well, their lack of running ability, but also it seemed they kept running the same play.
Yeah, I thought there were definitely some causes for concern, not just with that, but team-wide. It's funny because, obviously the sky isn't falling. You're not going to go 18-0. BC probably wasn't bad enough to start 0-4. But a lot of areas that BC seemed to exploit in this game were areas that Edmonton really should have had a stranglehold on and a pretty decent advantage on. Now, like obviously Daryl Jabome, who's your third string middle linebacker, he came down. He wasn't really able to get off blocks. He's a rookie. Things like that happen. But there were multiple different things that the Edmonton Elks had done very well to this point in the season that BC had really struggled with that all of a sudden flipped in this game. So like I said, sky isn't falling, but definitely some causes for concern.
Yeah, I thought they lost the line of scrimmage battle in both the run game offensively and the run game defensively. And now I did like what Mark Killam said. He goes, you know what? Wasn't a great week for the coaching staff either. Like he doesn't just blame the players. He looks and says, hey, we need to be a little bit more creative. Now you're not going to win every game, so I'm not going to freak out here on one loss. It's one loss, and they were in the game. You know what? I did not like the decision to just stop running his route that led to one of the interceptions.
Yeah, K-on, yeah.
Right? Like you can't do that. The third interception is just a bad throw. And we'll have Cody on the show later on. But I'd love him to kind of like when you see that play, how do you not see the middle linebacker there? I don't really understand that one, right? Like that's just a bad throw. He hasn't made many, but that was a bad throw.
That was the worst interception this year.
Yes.
By far. Like Darnell, it was an 8-yard dot to Darnell Sankey. It was like it's inexcusable, and he'll tell you that. He knows. K-on's was tough. The first one was just an unbelievably athletic play by the half there, who broke on that zone, got his hands on the ball. The one I didn't like that was obviously wiped off the board because of the penalty, the roughing the passer, which was roughing the passer. But I thought that pick that got called back was a terrible ball as well. So yeah, it was sloppy offensively. I don't think him throwing the ball 51 times is a recipe for success. Justin Rankin had to get going, but he needs to be handed the ball more than 7 times. There's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. So now you have an opportunity, bounce right back against Ottawa on Thursday night. Now it is second time this year. They're playing twice in 5 days. So they're used to it, but there's obviously a little concern. Now you were down there today. Anybody not practicing?
I was not down there today because of Elks Nation, Elk Central recording with Eddie and Rick. So I was not down there today, but I'll be down there tomorrow.
Okay. I didn't see any notes of anybody significant. So that's hopefully a good sign. And I know, like Robustelli, I'm wondering when they're going to get him back because it would definitely be beneficial to them. Whether or not it's this Thursday or maybe they wait and then they give him an extra, basically 8 days. We'll see. But it would be nice to get him back. Just give him another option in the receiving core. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, I don't understand the Ducks signing Minchikov. How does Jackson Lacombe sign for when he's up, especially if the Ducks match the offer sheet for Carlsson? If the Oilers fans hated the Nurse contract, imagine they hate for Minchikov from Toothless Dan. Well, everything changes and evolves over time, sure. And, Minchikov is a big risk. Maybe he grows into it, maybe. But obviously, there was a report that an offer sheet was coming, so maybe they were aware of it. Because keep in mind, the player doesn't have to sign an offer sheet, but he gets presented with the offer sheet. His agent could go to the Ducks and say, hey, we were presented with this. You know what? If you want to give us something that matches it, we'll just do it, and then you won't have to worry about it. Way you go. Right? Or something close. Who knows? Maybe the offer sheet was 7.5, and they're like, hey, you know what? If you do it 5 years, we'll do it 7.4. I have no idea. But there was definitely, I think, the threat, or they knew an offer sheet was there and decided, okay, we're not going to have the second offer sheet towards our team. But it does put the Ducks, and if you're an Oiler fan, you're loving it. Because the Ducks are a team in the division that you thought would be a contender over the next few years. Well, now, like, if they match Carlsson, they're going to have to trade someone else to sign Gauthier. So they're going to have to weaken themselves somewhere. And then you're going to have more money tied up in Cutter Gauthier and Leo Carlsson than you have tied up in McDavid and Draisaitl. And that's wild to me. It's wild. So, because you look, McDavid and Draisaitl are combined $26.5 million. Carlson's making 18. Gauthier ain't signing for 8.5. Now, when he looks at it and says, dude, I just scored 41 goals. Now, he doesn't have arbitration rights. He doesn't have offer sheet potential. So do the Ducks want to try to put the screws to him for 1 year? I guess they could. But then maybe they just line themselves up to be in an offer sheet next year. So it's a unique situation to be in. And we'll touch on it. We'll hear from both sides because, like, I'm curious, does either side look at this and say, hey, this is going to be big? And how about this? This just came down. Simon Nemec signs a 5-year deal at $7.5 or $7.25 million. That's what he signs for. Calgary, of course, just acquired him. And, he had 11 goals, 26 points. Man, it's a great time to be a young defenseman. And all it takes is one contract, and it resets the market a little bit. And clearly that's what's happened here. But you're getting defensemen now who have like 150 games played, and they're getting 5 years at $7+ million. And none of them, Brandt, 40 points, Nemec, 26 points. Now, he'll get more of an opportunity in Calgary. I won't be surprised if he's up to 40 points next year at all. But then Minchikov, like, how's Minchikov going to get all the points? To look and say, hey, if I'm getting $7 million plus, there's got to be some offensive production. It can't be 22 points, man. Well, I guess it can. It's just not ideal. So there you go. So Nemec, slightly more than Minchikov, who got 7.2. Nemec gets 7.25, which is clearly the new bar for defensemen. So we will we'll touch on the Flyers and the Ducks. We're going to get both sides' arguments here next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
You may get up early, but more than likely, the team at GS Construction have already gotten up before you, grabbed a coffee, headed to the site, and started their day. So while Edmonton wakes up, GS crews are already underground, quietly keeping things moving, upgrading, and laying the new underground infrastructure for our growing city. If you're the kind of person who goes to sleep with their steel-toed boots on, GS Construction wants to hear from you. We're looking for a maintenance foreman as well as a building and yard attendant. Visit gsconstruction.ca for more.
Your co-op grow team are your local experts because we live here too. Our agronomic specialists stay up to date with the latest research and technology to help support your entire farm operation. As your crops fill and mature, we're here to help you assess crop health, manage pre-harvest applications, and make informed decisions for a successful harvest. Co-op, we're all growing together, here for your farm, here for your family. Talk to your co-op grow team today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes, and they've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 1-888-888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where, of course, you can get in the game, instance lottery, live dealer, casino, and, of course, sports. And every day we got a few of the Jason Gregor Show specials, the red card drama, paging offense, and a little early's Elks action. So check it out at PlayAlberta.ca. Can the Jays score a run? Oh, man, their offense brutal. Right now. Seattle's got some good pitchers, but still. Mix in a run. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. As we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. 53 years. They've grown and evolved, become the most diversified electrical contractor in the province. ActionElectrical.net. And of course, it was big news, still big news, the Leo Carlsson offer sheet. So from the time it's happened, the Ducks have now signed Minchikov to a 5-year deal at $7.2 million. So if they match the Leo Carlsson offer sheet, the Ducks would then have $9.973 million to sign Cutter Gauthier and Tyson Hines. Because they need to sign and they need another defenseman. So what does this mean? And what are the Ducks going to do? Zach Kavanaugh, Ducks reporter for the Sporting Tribune, joins us. Zach, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good down here, Jason. It was a much more eventful early July week than I think any of us thought we were going to be in for. And it's a tense few more days here in Orange County.
So what was the reaction kind of amongst Ducks fans here? Are they like, we got a match automatically? Are they mad? Where are they at?
I think it was just an initial shock of how much it was, or that there was one signed at all. Like, you know, my off season here covering the team has been defined by my last 2 Fridays kind of being blown up by the team. Last week was the draft, or last Friday was the draft. They didn't have any first round picks. There was the rumblings of Mason McTavish being traded, and he just said, who knows what's going to happen today. So I went out. And then they traded him, and then I had to go work while my friends had their beers next to me. I had to write. And then this last week, there was nothing going on. And just out of the blue, again, I'm out on my way going somewhere, and we get the notification that he's signing the offer sheet. It's not totally surprising when we look at the history of how Pat Verbeek has handled all this. And I think that's where a lot of the initial anger went towards. It was that initial reaction of, you had so long to get this done, Pat, and you didn't. And now we're here. You've, negotiated in such a way with all of these RFAs over the course of his time here that this was eventually going to come back and bite him. Some player was going to rebel. And it seems like it's been Leo taking this big number because I feel like the reason that you sign this offer sheet is if you know that you don't want to go through the hemming and hawing, the back and forth for the next 4 months of locking this in. And you just say, here's what I want. Some team's willing to offer it for me. Here's how I force your hand. And now they're in a tricky spot. And there's been a lot of kind of ebbs and flows of who's mad at whom, whether they're mad at Leo for being, in theory, greedy for taking more money, or if they're more mad at Pat Verbeek. I think ultimately more of the blame here lies on Pat Verbeek for letting it get to a point where Leo could sign this in the first place.
And so I think that's fair, Zach. But then you throw in the Minchikov contract. And I'm like, all of a sudden now he's $7.2 million, and like the guy scored 22 points and played 18 minutes a night and good young player. And where's he going to go? But the guy Jackson Lacombe, he's clearly their number one. So I don't know if Minchikov's point totals are really going to jump up that much. I guess his usage will jump up without Trouba and Gudis and other defensemen. But like that one almost seemed like, the rumors were, well, there's another offer sheet coming, so we don't want that to happen. So we kind of got pushed into a corner already. So the fact that they gave him 7.2, does that make you believe that Verbeek's going to live up to his claim that we will match any offer sheet and they will ultimately match?
I don't even know if it's the Minchikov part of it that makes me think that. I just think you look at what the situation is, what the layout is. Sure, you could get 4 first-round picks back. And sure, those first-round picks could be anything. And you could think that Roger McQueen is going to blossom into this guy that could be your next franchise center. But there's no way to know that. There's no way to know that any of those 4 first-round picks are going to be good enough with how the Flyers, in theory, will be, with Carlsson in the mix. There's no way to know that Roger McQueen can carry a franchise on his shoulders like that. But who you do know that can do that, and that's Leo Carlsson. It took them forever to find a guy like Leo, to get in the position to sign a guy like Leo, which makes me think you just got to bite the bullet. Now, the Minchikov part of it makes it tougher for sure. And it obviously, I think the Minchikov stuff, based on the reporting of Elliot Friedman today, it seems like if it weren't for the offer sheets, then this may have been a bit more manageable. Not the $3 million that they wanted to sign him to, but I was even thinking that 4 or 5 is probably where Minchikov was going to come in at.
Yes.
And to come in higher than that is kind of a blow to the whole thing. Now, the thing that people are kind of forgetting about how the Ducks can manage this, one, of course, is the overage you're allowed in the offseason, the 10% of the cap, the $10 million. But also, Troy Terry is going to be out for the first 2 months, 3 months of the season with his hip surgery. So that's money that they will be able to negotiate with as well going up into the season. They'll have to shed it when Terry's ready to come back, but there is a little bit more leeway in trying to figure this out than I think people are allowing the Ducks, but it is much tighter than it should be. Ultimately, because I think you just have to bite the bullet and take the deal, because you don't get Leo Carlsson's every day.
What do you think Cutter Gauthier's contract is going to be now? Now, I know that you can't use offer sheets as a comparable, right? You're not allowed to. In arbitration, it wouldn't work. But when you're Cutter Gauthier and you say, hey, man, 41 goal score here, I think I'm pretty important. Now, he's not a center, but is like him demanding, they're saying, hey, I should get at least 15 or 16 now. I don't know if it's realistic, but it might go that way.
Yeah, I think 15 and 16 is probably just a bit too far off the margins for even Verbeek to take at this point. And I had kind of pegged Cutter being around 10 based on the start of the year. And now I'd say if you can get him in at 13, you're doing yourself a pretty good job. I have to hope that the leverage that the Ducks have with Cutter that they don't have with everybody else is there is no offer sheet coming for Cutter Gauthier. He's exempt from that. So they can sort of take this all the way up until the 10th hour. And I almost imagine now, based on how all these other negotiations have gone, that you do take that into training camp, unfortunately, as much as everyone wants to get around it. But there's also all the talk of you want to know what your budget is to try to fill the rest of the holes, because there are other things this team needs to accomplish. They could really use another defenseman. They could use another forward to come in to fill the spot of Troy Terry while he's out. And it gets a little dicey when you start doing that. There's got to be a trade made. Whether there's already going to be a trade to shed some salary somewhere, there has to be. But Pat Verbeek also put himself into a corner by getting rid of his best trade pieces. Mason McTavish not there anymore. Olin Zellweger not there anymore. So what kind of value do you get back for whatever you're going to give up? Again, I just think that this is something that Verbeek has mishandled from day one of how to get to this point. He thought that he was in control, and now when that control's been taken out of his hands, the thing starts to unravel a little bit.
Yeah, like if you look at their cap, you look at Chris Kreider and Alex Killorn, two guys who combined to make $12.75 million. They each have 1 year left in their deal. So that would free up a lot of money the following year, 27, 28. The cap's going to be up to, plus they get the extra cap space. So, it wouldn't take that long to have the cap space for them to all fit. Even if you look at Beckett Seneca, his new deal would kick in 2 years from now, 28, 29. But if the three of them are 18, 13, 13, it's just like it's $44 million for three guys, right? And it makes it really difficult to kind of, figure out. And it also makes the Jackson Lacombe deal look great. So that's my one is, like, why was Verbeek so stubborn? Like, did he not think, like, people have talked about this would be the summer of offer sheets for 6 months?
Yeah, and that's why when I go back, I wrote my story in the immediate aftermath of the signing and kind of criticizing Verbeek of how he handled all this. You look back to last training camp, and he did work ahead. They did get Jackson Lacombe in at what now looks like quite a favorable number. I don't know what Jackson Lacombe would be worth if he was negotiating this after you guys saw that Edmonton series, how good he was. Like, I imagine that number for Lacombe jumps up to at least 12. So there was signs that you could have got this done ahead of time, and you knew that this was going to only increase if these guys were going to put up the seasons they did. Cutter, the 40 goals, Leo doing what he did, even with the injury that he sustained. There was every opportunity to take care of this thing ahead of time and not make this a mess. And, I understand the idea of tabling negotiations during the season, where they said that they wanted to focus on the play and they wanted to focus on making the playoffs. And I think all that's well and good, but I know that the players are involved in the negotiations, but you're still negotiating with the agents, and there is breaks in the season. Like, Leo was supposed to be in the Olympics. You had 2 weeks where he wasn't all of a sudden playing the Olympics now. I feel like you probably could have got some work done there, but there's no way to know what the internal conversations were like. And even when this all shakes down, I know we're going to grill Pat Verbeek about how this actually occurred. And I don't know that we're going to get any straight answers out of it, but there was opportunity to get this handled early. He showed that they could do it with Jackson Lacombe, and Jackson's a different guy, a different player. He's more willing to accept certain things. He's kind of be like, hey, my life's pretty good. I'm going to take this. But when you know that you got your franchise guy, you got to get that done before July 1st, especially if you're concerned about how much money you need to spend everywhere else.
Zach Kavanaugh joins us discussing the from the Anaheim Ducks perspective, the Leo Carlsson contract. So, Zach, after listening to you, you believe that even though, it's $18 million that the Ducks are ultimately going to agree to it. It's huge money. It also, it goes outside of the norm. They don't like doing signing bonuses. And this contract is basically a signing bonus. 85 out of the 90 million is signing bonus, including 19.95 million in 5 days.
That's a tough one to swallow. Not only just that, but if you look at the course in a calendar year, they're going to have to pay him like $41 million with the next signing bonus as well. And Pavel Mintyukov gets a signing bonus too, which I think Pat Verbeek sort of just reacting to what the market is and knowing what he has to do there. But yeah, I think you just got to do it because you don't know that those 4 first-round picks are going to turn into anything. I mean, I don't want to harp on the guy specifically, but one of the recent first-round picks that the Ducks had is a guy, Nathan Gaucher, who comes in and he's at best going to be a third-line NHLer, third, fourth liner. That's a fine career path to have, but that's not the worth. You get 4 Nathan Gauchers, for example. That's not the worth of Leo Carlsson. And there's opportunity, I guess, and you saw this with Edmonton as well, to maybe do some side deal to maybe up the value of what you're recouping with another player, another pick or something like that. But the number one center, the franchise mantle carrier, is such a hard thing to find. And when you're at this point in the Ducks trajectory and the rebuild, you need that rock to build around. Leo was that rock, is that rock. And I think they just have to keep that in place, because if you do, you have all this other ammunition, sure, with the draft picks and the other young guys they picked up recently, but there's no way to know that that's going to max out at equaling the production that Leo is going to give you now, next year, and into the future.
Well, it's going to be fascinating, Zach. I'm sure it'll be a week-long roller coaster for Duck fans to see what happens. I'm sure Pat Verbeek, a lot of people are like, well, why don't they just make the announcement? You've got a week. Use the time. Explore all options, because the other option is you either don't agree to it, you let Philly have them, or you can do what Edmonton did in the St. Louis one, and you facilitate a side deal type of trade to lower it. Because the thing about the Flyers is if they get Carlsson, they only have $11 million to sign Drysdale and Zegras, and both of those guys just fall for arbitration. And they ain't getting those two guys for $11 million. So both teams here, I think, are in a tough spot that it's going to make it more difficult for either organization to win with this contract in the foreseeable future.
For sure. And if you're Pat Verbeek right now, you have no incentive to do it early. You're mad at Philadelphia. Tie them up for a few days. See what happens. It's 4 days. It's not going to affect the long run, but what's a little petty move here and there?
Hey, at this point, man, it's a great rivalry. I love it. So hey,
it's pretty electric. Yeah,
Briere and Verbeek at the next GM's meeting. That would be awesome stuff. So thanks, Zach. Sure. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Jason.
There you go. That's Zach Kavanaugh joining us from Anaheim. And hey, man, they're annoyed. I get it. I could totally get it. So And we got a lot of texts. Hey, Gregor, this Draisaitl deal looks even better. Well, yeah, but I never thought the Draisaitl deal looked bad at any point. But yeah. Well, and that's usually when you have long-term contracts. Now, Draisaitl's contract was never bad from day one. But in year 7 or 8, yeah, it's going to look even better. No question. There are some contracts, though, that are from day one they're signed. You're like, not going to look great. But I didn't mind Draisaitl's. It was obviously a big price tag, but I expected him to get a big price tag based on everything he's done. We'll take a quick break. Now, what about the Flyers? Because not only do they have the Leo Carlsson, now you've got arbitration for Zegras and Drysdale. Now, I don't expect them to go to arbitration. Most players don't. But what are you going to do? And if you don't get Carlsson, the arbitration cases, you know what? Still, though, your Zegras had the exact same points as Carlsson this year. Now, Trevor Zegras isn't a defensive player, doesn't have the size. I understand it all. But at the end of the day, points matter. They matter a lot. And I'm not saying he's going to get 18, but what if he jokes and says, well, I'm half the player? I'll accept being half the player. Now I get $9 million. Like, he would probably be like, thank you very much. So we'll see. Because did anybody see the Chinnikov deal over the weekend? Like, man, like I know that we have to readjust our thinking to players, but Igor Chinnikov, $6.25 million. And, he's 18 goals scored. Now, I know he's a great shot, and they all think he's going to improve. But I've always argued, man, like, I understand, and it's tough. You're never going to get everyone right. But, Chinnikov's played like 250 NHL games. And, he's got 55 goals. He's like 1 goal every 5 games. It's basically what he's been averaging so far in his career. So maybe a 20-goal scorer if he plays all 82 games, which is something he's never done. So, yeah, it'll be that contract. All these guys are going to arbitration like, ka-ching! Right? Like, if you're Cole Perfetti, I think you're looking at Igor Chinnikov and saying, hey, I like the sound of $6.25 million. We'll take a quick break. Jordan Hall will tell us why the Flyers made this decision. Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Cheering on Canada, Mexico, Australia, France, England, Brazil, Germany, Spain, and the rest of the world at the Druid Irish Pub.
Your World Cup headquarters.
Wear your colors, cheer on your team, and enjoy $6.50 Heineken every game.
Plus, your chance to win a ton of World Cup merch,
including hoodies, jerseys, soccer balls, and more.
The Druid Irish Pub, your World Cup headquarters.
Bringing Edmonton together, one soccer game at a time.
The Druid Irish Pub.
Cheer with us in the Mercer Building across from Rogers Place in Ice District.
Canada's men's rugby team at Clark Stadium, July 11th. Don't miss an international doubleheader as Canada takes on Portugal and Tonga battles Spain. Build the home field advantage for Team Canada. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Boxing Week is back at the Brick. Don't wait until winter. Get blowout pricing now. Save 55% off sofas when you buy the matching piece. Save up to 25% off bedroom and dining. Save up to 40% off select mattresses. Plus, get free local delivery when you use your Flexity card. And buy more, save more. Up to $500 off select major appliances. Don't miss the return of Boxing Week, only at the Brick. Exclusions apply. See in store for details.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
Experience the home ice advantage with your window coverings. Novo Blinds provides factory direct pricing and fast turnaround on roller, zebra, blackout, drapery, and motorized blinds. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
Any project, big or small, when you need metal cut to your exact measurements fast, count on Metal Supermarkets, a warehouse bursting at the seams with inventory, plus metal bending, drilling, punching, notching, plasma cutting, welding, even delivery. Endless possibilities. Now imagine what they can do for you.
How about a garage shelf?
Think bigger, my friend.
2 garage shelves?
There you go.
I live on the edge.
The local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. If your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at CanTorque.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
.245, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. As always, Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where tomorrow Lotto Max $20 million and 20 prizes of $100,000 up for grabs at PlayAlberta.ca. We will continue our conversation. The offer sheet, big topic. It's going to be the biggest AAV in the National Hockey League. $18 million this year for Leo Carlsson. Lot of money. Now, I get the Flyers wanted a number one center. And I guess if you're going to make an offer sheet, you got to overpay. This is a significant overpay. Does it work out? How much... what's the concern if they do get him? Because then you only got $11 million to sign Zegras and Drysdale. How do you figure that? Who's getting moved out? So there's lots of, I think, other pieces to fit into the puzzle for both the Ducks and the Flyers, which makes it interesting. And we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And hey, look at the sun out. It's nice. Don't you been waiting? You're warm. Get the app, and you can get $1 cones all summer long. Only at McDonald's. And Jordan Hall from NBC Sports in Philadelphia joins us. Jordan, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Jason, I'm doing well. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Obviously, it was a shock to a lot of people to see this high of an AAV. I know some people have been speculating that the Flyers were thinking about making one. I don't know if anybody thought it would be $18 million. And now that you've had a few days to look at it, and then also look at the after effects of if they get them, what would it mean for the rest of the roster? What do you think about this this decision by the Flyers?
I think it's a bold one. It definitely surprised me. I didn't think there was a little bit of buzz about Leo Carlsson in an offer sheet, but I didn't think they would make him the highest paid player in the league. But I do think that's the overall gist of an offer sheet, is that you have to overpay. You have to almost grossly overpay to make that other team blank and feel like it's not right to match. So I think the Flyers are trying to be bold here. And if anything, I think it sends a message around the league a little bit that the Flyers are open for business and that they're looking to make some things happen. And it really said a lot to me about the Flyers' timeline in the rebuild. Danny Briere has never really committed to a firm timeline in this rebuild, how many years he thought it would take for them to turn the corner and become a contender. But he has put a high value on first-round picks. He's acquired a lot of them. He's made a lot of picks in the first 2 rounds, 15 in the first 2 rounds in 4 years. So for him to be willing to sacrifice 4 first-rounders tells me he thinks the Flyers are closer than a lot of people probably thought. That he thinks that this is one player away, Leo Carlsson, that is, from them becoming a serious contender. I think this would really kind of put the Flyers out of their rebuild and really put them into contention mode. And I think that's where he feels things are right now. And it's funny because he was getting a little bit of flack from some fans, not like a huge portion of fans, but a smaller portion, about kind of being a little subdued this offseason. And then he comes out kind of with a bang in this offer sheet. And I think it got fans at least excited that he's willing to do something like this.
So let's say they get him, and now they got their number one center, but they also got him at $18 million. And now you only have $11 million in salary to get Zegras and Drysdale, both who filed for arbitration. And based on all the contracts that have come out here, Jamie Drysdale ain't taking less than $7.2 million. I'll tell you that right now. So who else do you think, if they get Carlsson, who would be moving out to make the cap work?
Well, I'm not sure Drysdale will make over $7 million, if I'm being honest. That would make him the highest paid defenseman on the team, and I don't think he's going to get paid more than Travis Sanheim. I could be wrong, but I don't get that vibe. Now, listen, they might have to make some things work, with the cap. Rasmus Ristolainen's been rumored in trade discussions for the last 3 or 4 years now, and he's on the final year of his deal. And Danny Briere said at the draft, "Hey, we'll see what happens there." So it wouldn't surprise me if he was maybe a casualty where the Flyers cleared some cap there, or if they moved another depth defenseman to make some room. But I think the Flyers will be able to make this work. I don't think they would go into it without knowing that they can make this work cap-wise. Will they have to get creative? Yes. But I personally don't think Drysdale is going to exceed $7 million. I would be a little surprised if he does, because it would make him the highest paid defenseman on the team. And then Travis Sanheim, has a much bigger role. He's an alternate captain. He plays in all situations. I would be surprised if he's not the highest paid defenseman on the team.
Well, the reality of the cap going up this much, and the reason I said $7 million is Kyle Brandt. You just look at Brandt's contract. You just look at Nemich's contract. You look at Minchikoff's contract. And if I'm Jamie Drysdale, I'm sitting there and saying, hey, I'm just in the same category as those guys. I'm a few years older, but that's about it. I have way more NHL experience. I've been more productive than at least 2 of those guys. So regardless of the internal, the thing about when you offer one guy $18 million is your internal salary cap just gets thrown out the window. And yes, Sanheim makes more, but Sanheim signed a contract many years ago. It's kind of irrelevant now.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. And with the salary cap going up and up, you're seeing some of these deals made. The Flyers just paid Tyson Forster an extension, a guy that hasn't exceeded 30 goals in a season yet, hasn't had over 50 points. They paid him, I think it was $7.1 million for his new extension. And a lot of people thought that was a lot, but I think they're trying to get ahead of the curve a little bit that, deals are going to be like this now with the salary cap going up. So it's a very fair point. I do think, though, the Flyers could try to consider Drysdale at a lower cap. Cam York makes around $5.1 million, I believe. And I think that's a really good comparable for Drysdale. They're both similar defensemen. They both have similar roles. I wonder if they can try to get Drysdale in the $6 million range. But no doubt they're going to have to make some things work cap-wise because $18 million is a massive cap hit. I mean, I think that's why everyone was so surprised. And I'm not sure everyone thought that they would have that big of a cap number for Leo Carlsson. I know they like him, but man, that is big.
Oh God, it's massive. What about the Claude Giroux? There's lots of rumors that Claude Giroux might be returning to Philadelphia, and that could be a part where the Flyers, as they wait to see what the Ducks' decision is, the Flyers probably have to have okay, if we get Leo Carlsson, here are some decisions we're going to have to make, and if we don't, then we'll go this other pattern. But I'm guessing the Claude Giroux signing won't happen until the Carlsson decision.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's a little bit in wait and see mode because of Leo Carlsson. And I was told on Friday that nothing was done yet, that it was, keyword yet. I think it's still very much on the table, but nothing was done. So I don't know about that previous report that maybe it was a little premature. Maybe Giroux is looking at the Flyers and they're his favorite team right now, but I don't think anything's done yet. But I do think it's very much possible. And it would be definitely a full circle moment for Claude Giroux. He spent 15 years here. He's one of the franchise's greatest players. I do wonder how he'll fit in the locker room. He was obviously the longtime captain here, and the Flyers really had their leadership group kind of come into its own this past season. They finally had a playoff run, and it seemed like the locker room really molded, and it was around their three leaders, Couturier, Konecny, and Sanheim, and those are three guys that looked up to Giroux when he was here, and now Giroux will be coming back, and I think he's going to have to take a backseat role and kind of let this be their team. I'm really interested to see how that dynamic works if it does happen. But Giroux does a couple things still really well, and that's win faceoffs, which the Flyers could use, and he's a great power play player. And the Flyers have had nightmare time on the power play. They've been the worst power play in the league over the last 5 seasons. So I think the Flyers will welcome those two things, but I don't think it's quite done yet. I think it's something that maybe they do have to wait and see what the decision is on Leo Carlsson from the Ducks, and then they'll go from there.
Well, we wait with patience. And I would expect the Ducks to take all the time until Friday, similar to what Edmonton did with St. Louis 2 summers ago. You wait a week, and even if you have your mind made up, you'll just see what the other options are. Maybe they let Carlsson go, and then they facilitate some other trade like Edmonton and St. Louis did. There are 3 different options, and we'll see how it plays out. But it's definitely going to be the start of a busy summer, Jordan, because if they get Carlsson, they got to make some other moves. If they don't get Carlsson, they're still going to be wheeling and dealing, make some other moves. And who knows, maybe they'll go after Connor Bedard next. You never know. Yeah,
exactly. I feel like a lot of the restricted free agents, everyone's wondering, man, can they be offer sheeted? Can they be offer sheeted? Danny Briere, to his credit in his tenure, he's never been quiet. He's always been one to act, and he's taking action ever since day one. He's taken over. So he's kept people on their toes, and I think he's pretty eager, I think, to put this into another gear. I think he feels like they're there. That's why I think he was willing to do this, because most rebuilding teams are not sacrificing 4 first-rounders. They're typically a team that's trying to take a big step, and I think the Flyers are trying to do that here. Awesome, Jordan. Appreciate your time, man. Have a great day. Thanks so much, Jason. You as well. There you go. That's Jordan Hall from NBC Sports in Philadelphia. So what are the Flyers going to – well, there's nothing they can do. They just wait to see what the Ducks do. Deck, what's your guess? Match? No match? No match. No match. Donnie P? Match? No match. What are you saying on a Monday?
They got a match.
Ooh.
They have to. You can't just lose that player.
So Declan says no match. You say match. Oof. I originally thought for sure they would match, but then the Minchikov deal, I'm just like, oof. But I ultimately do think they're going to match because they look and say, we still got all our young guys in place. Yeah, it's a lot higher than we thought, but we'll deal with it. Their owner's got deeper pockets. Now, the team itself, I wonder, I would love to talk to Ducks fans, and I'm curious to see what the increase in season tickets will be next year, because it's too late to do it this year. Most people have already submitted for it, but because trust me, the owner's like, yeah, I'll begrudgingly pay for it, but he's going to try to get his money back. And you know how he's going to try to do that? Through the pockets of his fans. That's what they do. So we'll see. I would agree with Donnie. I think they're going to match. And I'm curious to see what other moves they will make to facilitate everything. It is true that Troy Terry's $7 million could go into LTIR, and that would create some space for them to get those guys signed, because then that would obviously give them technically $16.9 million, which is more than enough to get Gauthier and Hines signed. But they'd still, when they activate Terry, they'd have to move somebody. Or maybe someone else gets hurt in that time. We'll see. You when you have time on your side, obviously you can use it a little bit. So we'll see. But it's a fascinating time for Anaheim and Philadelphia. I'll just say this: when you pay one guy $18 million, you're kissing your chances to win the cup goodbye for a few years. That I'm pretty confident saying. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. Trust me. If you're looking for vehicles, man, they got the Leo Carlsons, they got the Goches, they got all types, any color, any make. Over 73 locations for you to choose from. GoAuto.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
FIFA World Cup, Spain leading Portugal 1-0 in the 95th minute. One more minute to go in stoppage time. The leader came from Mourinho in the 91st minute. MLB scores right now. It's the Royals up big on the Phillies 13-1 in the top of the 8th. Yankees and Rays next up at 4:40. And the Toronto Blue Jays, of course, in action at 7:45 in San Francisco, taking on the Giants. Kevin Gosman on the bump in that one. Flame signing defenseman Simone Nemec to a 5-year, $36.25 million contract. And around the league, Jason Robertson and Trevor Zegras among 15 players to file for arbitration in the league. Kawhi Leonard has hired a new agent ahead of his deal with the Toronto Raptors, and DeMar DeRozan has been waived by the Sacramento Kings. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Kickoff is coming July 9th. Elks, Red Blacks at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Salute to Service presented by YEG Plus. Help us celebrate the heroes and first responders who make our communities great. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Need equipment on the job fast? Japa Equipment Rentals in Atchison has you covered. Excavators, wheel loaders, compaction equipment, and more, backed by expert service. Visit japamachinery.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock. Welcome back. Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And Ronaldo's career at the World Cup has come to an end. As Portugal loses, they are out. Spain is moving on. And, Spain came in. They were the favorite, so this isn't a shocking result by any stretch. Spain controlled most of the game, and Ronaldo, 41 years of age, I'm guessing probably plays some more time in his home league, but you will not see him at another World Cup in 4 years' time. So it's had a pretty good World Cup career, I would say, overall. So, but Portugal, like a lot of the other countries, it's devastation for these players. You get this close, you obviously feel you can win. Otherwise, you wouldn't show up. But Spain, they move on. And with every passing day, man, the World Cup draw gets a little bit more intriguing. So Spain will now take on the winner of USA-Belgium that starts in about 3 hours' time. Norway and England are already through to the round of 8. France and Morocco as well. And then the last few teams, Switzerland plays Colombia tomorrow, as does Argentina and Egypt. So that game's at actually 10 a.m. and then 2 o'clock, Switzerland and Colombia. The one thing that's surprising to me is that Norway and England play on the 11th. Meanwhile, like the team Spain and whoever, USA or Belgium, they play on the 10th. But they both finished the day later, but they're playing a day earlier. Like, why are Norway and England getting such a longer break? Anybody out there knows more than me? Let me know. That one seems odd to me. So, either way. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We're going to get to our big guest of the day now, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your group to your next destination. Weddings, stags, team events, they got it all. SilentRides.ca. As Kevin Woodley joins us once again. Woodley from Ingo Magazine, NHL.com. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. How are you, Jason? Lots going on since we last talked, my friend. A little free agency, a little spinning wheels of goaltenders.
Yeah. So, hey, buddy, you're the perfect guy to talk to about the goaltending. So let's get into it. Let's start with Devin Levi. And I know that the Oilers did a very extensive deep dive, talking to lots of different people. And I know now there's more stats available at the American League level than ever before, and looking at it, and teams are tracking this, rightfully so, of course. What do you make of Devin Levi? And, his NHL numbers have slowly regressed the last 3 years. But what do the AHL numbers tell you?
Honestly, not much, because I don't have access to that. So, okay. And I would actually caution, because with all due respect, but the team that we're talking about here made a massive mistake on goaltending based on, an analytics company that does have AHL numbers. So I'd grain of salt them. The problem is I don't have anything else to go on because ClearSight doesn't do the American Hockey League. So, that's a bit of a challenge. But I can get into Levi a little bit outside the numbers. I do think that if you look down the road in Calgary, you will see an example. And I know Devin's talked about, and I believe with him. I think he's right on about this trend. As the game becomes increasingly east-west, bigger goaltenders also get exposed, and that smaller goaltenders and their ability to move well and skate well can mitigate some of the things that are causing larger goaltenders to sort of get opened up and create holes in all of these things. I think he's bang on there. He's right. But if you look down at Dustin Wolf, and the Calgary Flames, another 6 foot or sub 6 foot goaltender in the National Hockey League, having success. And after a first month of the season, Wolf finished top 10 in adjusted numbers last year. He does not play aggressively. Like, he is so contained. At the most you see him come out is the heels at the edge of his crease. And it's not just north-south relative to his goal line. We've talked about this before over the last couple of years. It is east-west relative to his posts, not playing over aggressively in any direction. And yeah, there's some exposure that's created by that. When the Flames give up the top of the circles in the middle of the ice, there's some positional exposure that's created. And there are times it's cost him. But overall, he's trended as one of the best goalies of the game for the past 2 years. And like I said, even after a really tough start last season, finished in the top 10. And it's well playing conservative positionally. I don't think you can play aggressively in today's NHL and get away with it, even if you're one of the fastest goalies in the league. And Devin Levi would check that box as one of the fastest goalies in the league. But I do think he's a goalie that likes to play with a lot of flow, relative aggression to his peers. And I think that reining that in and taking advantage of the things his footwork is exceptional. His athleticism is exceptional. His puck tracking is exceptional. But being aggressive and relying on the footwork doesn't allow him to use the other things as effectively. He's moving a lot, as opposed to being able to beat plays to spots and let the puck and the plays come at him. And so I think that's one of the adjustments that'll be required in the NHL. I didn't see enough tape in the American League to see if that process started, but it's one of the things where the exposure was created. Just too much moving. And so, it's one thing if it's a breakaway. And you watch, like on breakaways and shootouts, he'll get out to the hash marks. Like, it's old school 80s stuff. And he's so exceptional at moving and covering off distance that he pulls it off. But I do think even off rush plays now, it's funny, I just finished doing a presentation to a goalie school. And one of the examples we looked at was Wolf. And there'd be like a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1 coming over the blue line, Jason. And the most in any of the clips that we saw him was heels touching the edge of his crease. Most of the time, it's toes inside. And so that idea of being way out and retreating, that's going the way of the dodo bird in the National Hockey League. And I think some of the stereotypes around smaller goalies are that they have to do that. And I don't know that I've seen as big an adjustment in Levi's game since turning pro in that regard compared. And I'm not saying there's only one way to do it, but I'm saying I would consider taking a look at the way Wolf has mitigated it. Dylan Garand, who I was a little surprised ended up back in the 3-hole in New York after the trade for Korpisalo, because he's got to clear waivers. Again, contained positional game, plays inside his post most of the time off dead angles, not a lot of overlap. Just trusts his tracking, trusts his positioning and his footwork, and doesn't feel like he needs to be aggressive. And I think that's one of the things that, even Wolf, first year American Hockey League goal of the year, the next year with a change in coaches at the American League level was when he started to back up. And that's when he became an American Hockey League MVP and goalie of the year. And it was trusting that would work in the NHL, which is where he finally made his strides and stuck in the NHL and had these last 2 great seasons. So I think that's one of the adjustments you're going to have to see in Devin Levi. The other one might be for the Oilers around Devin Levi, because I've heard a lot about teammates not loving all the extra goalie stuff at times. And he is I love this kid. He's a dream come true he's a goalie. He's a passionate, he studies the game. He thinks the game. He does mindset. He does breath work. He does all these things. One of the things he does in TV timeouts is he used to go and sort of stare at in the middle of the ice and looking at the net. And he talked about it sort of like from one of the Star Wars movies and the Jedi and the bubble and Obi-Wan and all this stuff, which, hey, it's a great story. But then the league said he was in the way of the dry scrape, so he had to go over to the boards to do it. For some reason, I kept hearing that teammates thought that stuff bordered on selfish. And, again, you can call it quirky goalie, whatever. I think you gotta if the guy finds a way to have success, I think you gotta let goalies be goalies. And I'll point to Eric Comrie. It's a different example, but Eric Comrie has had similar tools and similar skills for a long time. The reason he struggled so much early in his career, Jason, was because he felt like he needed to be the stereotypical goalie. He needed to be stoic. He needed to be quiet on game days. Nobody talked to me. Ella Henrik Lundqvist. And for guys like Lundqvist, like the jersey's over my shoulder, Hall of Famer for a reason. That worked for him. But a lot of goalies feel like they have to be that. And a lot of coaches feel like they want their goalies to be that. Eric Comrie's as bubbly and outgoing a personality as you'll ever meet. It wasn't until he got comfortable being himself and doing those things that he finally stuck in the NHL. Because for the first 4 or 5 years of his career, he was trying to be somebody he's not. And it's not the same type of stuff that Devin does, but there's a lesson in letting somebody be who they are and do the things that they believe help them have success. And that, to me, is a message to his teammates from me and a message to the coaching staff as well. There are some oddities there, some quirky little things that he does, but it's very much for a reason. None of it is not thought out. So have some patience with it rather than thinking he's being a weird goalie, because there are absolute roots in specific things he's trying to accomplish with each of them.
Okay. So Levi comes in. Also, Freddie Anderson joins. Now, Freddie Anderson just won the Stanley Cup. Obviously, he's a proven NHL goaltender. He's got a track record of injuries, unfortunately. But when he's healthy, he can play. Now, he doesn't play a ton. 35, 19, 22, 31 starts in each of the last 4 seasons. That's his MO. I think the Oilers probably know that going in. But when you look at Freddie Anderson's style, and I know we don't know exactly how Mike Babcock is going to play, and you've taught us a lot about, hey, the system matters for sure, but pretty sure Mike Babcock isn't playing a run and gun style that's just going to expose his goaltenders all over the place. At least I'd be surprised. But when you look at Anderson, what do you think the Oilers should expect from him?
Well, from a system standpoint, and this is oversimplified on my part, but the one thing I would be avoiding, because listen, like we've talked about this with Carolina, Freddie Anderson had I almost said he had the toughest defensive environment in the NHL, but he didn't, because from a quantity standpoint, he didn't face a ton of chances. But he had the hardest environment in the NHL from a quality standpoint last year. His expected save percentage in the regular season with the Carolina Hurricanes was .868. So he was comfortable. I think we saw this in the playoffs, not being busy, but then facing quality quite often off the rush. When we talk about the injuries and the wear and tear, I think what you have to be careful of is in your defensive zone, I actually think you could trade chances a little bit and get away with it with Frederik Andersen. But what you can't do in the D zone is be a collapsing team that allows the other team to cycle on you and move the puck around and wear him down. He is a big boy. He's a big goaltender. And a lot of the injuries are not surprising given just how massive a frame he has. Like, he's such a big goal. He presents so big in the goal. But that's a lot of, there's a study by Bauer did one, CCM did one. I think every time you drop into the butterfly, it's 2 times your body weight and force applied to your knees and hips. And it's like the equivalent of an Olympic clean and jerk. And so if you get yourself in a situation where you're pinned in your own zone, you're keeping everyone to the outside, but you're collapsing back, and they're allowed to move it and cycle it. And every time there's a fake shot or a shot into those bodies, he's got to drop to the ice. Like, it's a lot of wear and tear. Like, in some ways, Carolina was perfect because he had so few of those moments where they were hemmed in their own zone. And he had to put that type of wear and tear. But then when they gave up quality, he was there. Plays a conservative game. We just talked about Devin Levi. I think he could probably go to school watching Freddie Anderson, even though he's nowhere near the size of him. Freddie plays a very conservative positional game. Interestingly enough, his first go around with Mike Babcock in Toronto, there was a period there where the word was the coach wanted him to be more aggressive, and he got out to the edge of his crease, and it didn't work. So Freddie's a guy who plays really contained, simplifies his routes, shorten his routes. Again, I just think you've got to be cognizant of the wear and tear. And it's not just it's your defensive zone. It's how much time he spends killing penalties. It's all the start, stop, down movement that adds to that wear and tear. But like, this is a guy who missed a period of time a couple of years ago. You probably remember the story of Carolina's charter flight breaking down between Seattle and Vancouver. And everybody laughed about, Brent Burns made the bus stop at McDonald's, and they were 45 minutes at McDonald's because they bussed from Seattle to Vancouver after the night. Well, Freddie Anderson ended up not returning. He played that night in Seattle, and he was out for a while because sitting on that bus for all those hours did not do good things for his knee. So those are the types of things that you have to be cognizant of this at every level. You cannot push him outside of his comfort zones physically, or you're just going to end up with a goalie who doesn't make it through the year. So Bussy taking over last year was ideal. Them having depth options this year and using all three guys potentially is ideal. By the way, last one on those two, Freddie Anderson, Devin Levi. Anderson religiously, Levi I know for the past couple of years, but I don't know how closely the working relationship. Both guys work with Adam Francilia out of Kelowna, a name I know you've heard from me on this show before. Yeah. Okay. So his workload as far as games played, but also even in game. Yeah, that's part of the balance. Absolutely. I mean, they have monitors on this, Jason. Like they strap. You see them put on the. I forget the name of the company where they strap it in. They put the device on. Part of that is butterfly drops. That's one of the measurements for goaltenders, how many times he goes down. And so having three goalies or how they use a practice goalie, if that's the way they go, it's about mitigating that in practice too. Like just reduce the wear and tear. Do everything you can to try and get him through the season healthy. Like you said, the games played are really low the last number of years. This year, I mentioned the 868. He underperformed it. In 22-23, he was below expected. But in 3 of the past 4 years, like plus 1.3% in 21-22, plus 1.2% in 24-25, plus almost 3% in 23-24. Small samples, but most of them have been him outperforming a difficult environment in Carolina. So you saw in the playoffs what he's capable of. It's just a matter of how many of those you get out of him.
What's your thoughts on Bobrovsky going to Toronto?
It's funny because I looked at the numbers while he was with Florida, and we've talked about this before. Like playoff Bob is legendary, but regular season Bob was below expected, underperformed his environment in 6 of the 7 seasons he was with the Panthers. He was 47 goals below expected during that 7-year contract in the regular season. A lot of it was this year, almost 2 goals per every 100 shots below expected this year. Like it really fell off this year. And I still think it might be a good deal for Toronto. So you put all those numbers out there because once you get to the playoffs, assuming they've got a team that's good enough to get to the playoffs with some average goaltending out of him at times, once you get there, he's one of the best. Like, those numbers I just threw out for Freddie, that's what he does every year in the playoffs. And so it's just a matter of mitigating the regular season and getting through the regular season. I think early on, there's going to have to be some patience as he gets comfortable with new structure and new teammates and new environment. I think the things he does that have me confident that physically it won't be a problem at the end of that contract, like he'll be physically fine at age 41, are all things that will bode well for Artur Akhtiamov, learning from him. Like there's a ton of value there. I actually don't hate the deal at all, despite all those numbers that I pointed out on social media and kind of got a little traction. And some people were like, why are you dissing on this guy after the career he's had? Both sides are true. I actually don't hate the deal at all. Toronto's been a pretty good defensive team. I think they'll continue that with the coaching change. And, as long as you have that environment, the 2 years where he was really bad, because a lot of those 6 years where he was under expected, it was just a bit, right? It was just sort of like like a goal every 200 shots below league average. Not great, but not fall off a cliff. There were only 2 years where it fell off a cliff this past year. And I think it was 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And in both cases, his expected save percentage dipped down to the 880s. You give him a steady environment and he'll give you good quality goaltending and tons of big saves and big moments. And that, as we saw in the playoffs, can be the kind of thing that results in Stanley Cups or long runs.
Kevin Woodley from InGoal Magazine and NHL.com joins us. So, Kev, we've seen the coaching or the goalie changes. Was there one goalie move in free agency or trades that you quite liked and why?
Ooh, good question. I think that Joseph Woll will succeed in Philadelphia because I think the strengths of his game and the way his game's evolved at times, if I'm being critical, at times looking a little rigid in some of the movement, but it's allowed him to play more and be more healthy than he was in the past. I think that's going to fit Rick Tocchet's system and the way he just, he talks about it all the time. I saw it here in Vancouver, just ask his goalies to play one side of the net. So I absolutely think he's going to be a goalie on the rise, and that will allow them to balance the amount of starts that they give to Dan Vladar. And the other one, like Dennis Hildeby in Tampa Bay, they get Nick Paul in return. There's them using their push from below. They know they have Akhtiamov, so if Stolarz gets hurt, he can come up and get minutes. He's proven he's ready. He outperformed Hildeby in the American League, and yet Hildeby's numbers when he was in the NHL were exceptional, like top 10 in the league, just on the edge of that exceptional this past season. He was really good. Is the ceiling as high in Hildeby as it is on Akhtiamov? No, he's a little more, quote unquote, he's a big goalie, Swedish goalie. There's a little more sort of hit me in his game, a little less dynamic than some of these other goaltenders. But in Tampa's system, where there's a ton of structure and defense, like I think that's going to be a win for the Tampa Bay Lightning as well. So I don't even hate it for Toronto because I understood what they were doing and it made sense in terms of restructuring their depth chart and still having a guy at the bottom to push up who they think has a higher ceiling. But I love him as a fit in Tampa Bay. How many games? Probably not a ton. But if he can have some success, because Jonas Johansson statistically, it wasn't great there. Got some wins, but statistically it wasn't great. If Hildeby can give them a boost, that gives them a chance to rest Vasilevsky more. The only caveat is that there was a goalie I was saying similar things about last year. Great season with no expectations coming in as the 3. And then when he had to be the guy and play more minutes as the 2 and injuries surrounded him, and that was Levi Meriläinen in Ottawa, and he struggled last season. So, I think there's enough structure in Hildeby's game that he's not going to be Meriläinen part 2, but there's always that possibility. The expectations change, and sometimes goalies don't. It's not always linear. Meriläinen, by the way, has got to clear waivers. If there's a move that I scratched my head at, it was the Samuel Larsson one. I understood their need to upgrade their goaltending, but the numbers I have don't indicate that's a huge upgrade. They paid $2.2 million a year for it. And now, unless they're willing to run 3 goalies, and more teams are, they're looking at losing Meriläinen on waivers. Because I know it was bad last year, but it was just as good the year before. And there are a lot of goalie coaches around the league that still see him as a top 10 prospect. And so if he's on waivers this year, he's a name that could get plucked.
Ooh, all right. Kev, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next week. Have an awesome day.
Thanks, Jason.
Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine and NHL.com. Quick break. We'll return. We get to our stats of the day a little bit later on. We got a lot of text flying through. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. And I do want to dive into a little bit on the Oilers blue line when we return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Mr. Rooter has deja vu. Mr. Rooter has deja vu.
The bathroom is right over there, Mr. Rooter.
Thank you, good sir. Wait, I swear I've plunged this toilet before. It was clogged with a snow globe. Am I living in a time loop? Oh, good. It's just a voodoo doll that looks exactly like me. Whew, what a relief.
For a plumbing experience you'll want to relive, call Mr. Rooter.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquacentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and this is the time of the year most RV stores wish their lot was full. At the new RV stores, product is trickling in, mostly just for taking orders. But having an RV on order doesn't mean much when the weather's great for camping today.
No Bull has hundreds of quality used RVs on the lot now. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. Walk into No Bull RV today, and you could be in the great outdoors next weekend. No waiting, no hoping it'll be here by summer, just the perfect used trailer, motorhome, fifth wheel, or toy hauler that you need.
And every RV at No Bull is one of a kind.
Every family is one of a kind too, Bob. Think we can't find the perfect one for you? Take a look around. At No Bull, you'll save thousands compared to the cost of a new RV. You can build your summer plan on hope, or you can know for sure. And ask about our Camp Ready service plan when you're here to make this the best summer yet.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We are rolling through a busy Monday afternoon. How you doing? Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Hope you are having a lovely Monday afternoon. If you're a Spaniard, you're fairly happy as Spain has moved on to the quarterfinals at the World Cup. They defeat Portugal 1-0. And now they will move on and face the winner of tonight's match, USA versus Belgium. You got Norway and England already through, as well as France and Morocco. So we got 3 spots left. We'll know one tonight, and then tomorrow, Switzerland or Colombia, and then Argentina and Egypt. Argentina is obviously the favor over Egypt. That Colombia-Switzerland game is could kind of go any way, I would think. And we'll see. But you know, if you had to rank the teams, France, Morocco, Spain, Norway, England, who would France probably still number one, or is it Spain? I don't know. You know, I think France is a favorite over Morocco. The Norway-England game will be something to watch, and will FIFA now rescind? Is Jude Bellingham suspended? Right? Who knows? He's not currently suspended, and I would hope he does, but we'll see. That's would be wild if indeed it happened. So man, it's interesting watching and listening to people who have covered the World Cup for as long as they have, who are at somewhat of a loss over this decision by FIFA to rescind the red card, which is something we've never seen before. Now, I guess the question, now I saw lots of great examples. People like, imagine if you go back to 1993 and they talked about maybe the the prime minister should have called up Gary Bettman and said, "Hey, that should have been a major for Gretzky on Doug Gilmour." It was in game, of course. It's a little bit different, but it was there were some funny examples that were used, like that when you watch the play, did you think it was a blatant red card, Declan? I guess we should start there, right?
You're talking about Flaherens?
Yes.
Yep, I did.
Yeah.
Did you?
I thought it was.
Yeah, right. And then so to kind of walk it back and be like, hey, no, you can actually play despite the fact that we've had these rules in place forever. Like and UEFA has now come out and condemned. Like, I just don't get it at all. I can't even begin to rationalize it.
Yeah, like there's talk. I know Belgian said, well, you know what, if you put him in the starting lineup, but what can they do now? Like, you can play the game under protest, but what does that really do? I don't know. It will. It's not a great look, but let's be honest. FIFA is not the most upstanding organization, right? Corruption is not something that they've avoided in the past. So I guess I can't be that surprised. Disappointing. But ultimately, you know what? If Belgium wins, then the story goes away. If they lose, oh my goodness, and they'll be talked about up until the U.S. loses. Right? That's just how it's going to be. So we'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, do you have time for Mantha? I do believe he's the type of player the Oilers could use. Big, strong hands, can score, net front presence. It's the type of player the Oilers just don't have. From Buds Nation. At the right price on a short-term deal, I'd consider it. Now, the big red flag when it comes to Mantha is the fact that come playoff time, he has not been a contributor. Ever. Right? He's played 20 playoff games. So this is 4 different years on 3 different organizations. Washington, Vegas, Pittsburgh. 3 different organizations, 20 games, no goals. It is now, maybe it's just bad luck because it like 20 games isn't the biggest sample size, but that's all you can go off of. And those 20 games have all occurred since 2021. Okay. So I'd be, yeah, there's some, that's 6 years. In 4 years, he's made the playoffs and scored a goal yet. So I'm assuming that is a factor. But, like, he's a 4-time 20-goal scorer. I don't think anybody can debate his abilities. Right? He scored 33, 23, 24, 25 goals in his career. Now, his 64 points last year, that was the best season of his career. He'd had 48 points twice, way back with the Red Wings in 2018 and 2019. Big guy, can skate. Like, I like a lot about his game. But to date, because that doesn't mean it's forever, but to date, success hasn't followed him in the playoffs. So would I sign him to a contract similar to Jack Roslovic? I get the cap's gone up a bit. Okay. Now, he also had 64 points, 33 goals. Roslovic didn't have that, right? When Roslovic signed last summer, he was coming off another 20-goal season. Good season, 22 goals to be exact, but it's not 33. So, and it wasn't 64 points. So Mantha, while you might get him on a 1-year deal, you're not getting him at $1.5 million. You might get him at 2.5, maybe. And with the cap going up, probably not. But it'll come down to Anthony Mantha. I would think some non-playoff teams would offer him more. Maybe he wants to be on a playoff team. Earned his right to do it. So at the right price, yes, I would consider. But I'm not going to waste all. So the Oilers currently have $5.9 million in cap space. And they have to sign Colton Dach. Now, Dach's not going to command a huge salary at this stage, but you know what? Is he going to get 1.4, 1.5, 1.3, somewhere around there? Yes, probably. So then it goes down. If he gets 1.5, then they're down to basically 4.4 mil, which is still a lot of cap space over the course of a season. And keep in mind that if you count the number of players, the Oilers actually have even more cap space than that. Because right now, on their roster, actually, no, they got 5.9, and that's they're only including if you added Dach, that he would be the 23rd. So that's fine. But they do have a defenseman in Stastny who maybe goes off the roster. He would make a little bit less than that, right? 1.1 of that doesn't count against the cap. Does he clear waivers? I don't know. I'll be interested to see what they do on the blue line, because right now I see Spencer Stastny as the number 8 defenseman on the roster. And I'd be curious what the gap would be internally between him and Alex Regula. One's a lefty, one's a righty. But what would be, because Stastny is essentially the 5th lefty on the team, and Regula is the 4th righty. So could you argue that you think Regula might be ranked higher? Now, he doesn't have the same NHL pedigree. Totally valid. But Mantha to me is like a late August, still not under contract. Okay. Hey, man, let's do it happen. Hey, Gregor, so for your playoff salary cap, it's just the players you dress, correct? Yes. 18 skaters, 2 goalies. That's your playoff salary cap. So because lots of teams sometimes will carry 25 guys, right? There's after the trade deadline, your roster can expand to more than 23 players as long as you fit under the cap. But once the playoffs come, your salary cap is the guys, the 18 skaters and the 2 goalies who play that night. So you can't really manipulate it as like you can't bring on a $9 million guy who was on LTIR earlier unless it fits on the cap for your 20 players. So maybe you set out a guy who's making $4 million for a game and multiple guys making $1.5 million. You can do it then. But no, in the playoffs, that's how it goes. Hey, Greg, I'm curious, what's your thoughts? Where do you come out on the Elks offensively? Cody Fajardo, lots of passing yards, also lots of interceptions, no running game. Cause for concern or a one-off? Well, there's always concern in the sense that the Elks had way too many turnovers compared to their first 3 games. Like, it's not a surprise. And we did the numbers at the start of the season last year in the CFL. If you win the number one stat, if you want to win the game, is win the turnover battle. And the Elks didn't win the turnover battle in this game. So they will need to be better there. The Elks aren't going to win every game. So after one loss, I'm not going to freak out. But it is fair to say I'll be monitoring closely not only their run game, because I thought that they didn't generate enough holes for Rankin, but also I didn't love the play calling. They seem to want to run just the exact same. BC now, okay, you know what? They're going to run off guard. They're going to run off guard. Oh, they're going to run between the guard and the center. Like, try something different. So that would be my concern. Cody Fajardo, the first interception, I don't blame the quarterback. You saw his reaction. As I don't understand what Keon Julian Grant was thinking. He just obviously thought, well, I'm not going to get the ball. And you can't run a route like that when as you turn, you come out of your turn and you just let up. That's not on the quarterback. The third pick of the game, and because where it was at, right at the goal line, that one was awful. Not all picks are even. I would rank that like a 10 out of 10 bad throw. It's just a bad throw. Sankey's right there. You threw it right into his hands. There's no one else around him. That was a bad throw. So Fajardo hasn't, he threw a few other balls kind of into tight coverage, which I like. I think it's something this team needs to do more of. So that's good. But ideally, you don't want Cody Fajardo attempting 51 passes. Fair to say, Deck, that's probably the number out of all of this.
Yeah, not a recipe for success at all. I do think there's kind of a thing that's starting to develop a little bit. I do think some of the receivers need a little bit more separation, but in no way is this team built, nor should they be built, to have Cody Fajardo throw the ball 51 times.
No, that's not it at all. Now, I do believe that like Robustelli, him coming back in would be a big boost to the Elks. Now, he did practice today, but he's limited. So I'm going to guess hamstring injury. He's not going to play, but I think he will play next Friday for Robustelli. But there was no one else. Justin Pace did not practice today, and the Elks, man, their linebacking core has been pretty decimated. So he's the guy to watch for who might not play. Like Royce Mechie is back. He's limited. Brett Boyko's been taking some reps. He's limited. He's a backup offensive lineman. I'm not sure would necessarily get in the lineup even if he was fully healthy, because I don't think they're going to dress 7 offensive linemen. And Royce Mechie, he even when he gets healthy, I'm not sold that he would come in. So he might be out the entire year. We'll see kind of where his progress is at as the season goes. But Robustelli's the one guy I'm watching to see when. The fact that he was limited on a Monday and you play on Thursday, Deck, that would tell me no chance he is going to play on Thursday, but they're hoping they can get him in. They don't have to rush him in at all, because I think when he comes back, he will be a big boost to their team. I have no doubt about that, that when he returns, he'll be a big boost to the team.
He's a possession receiver, right? So
Yes.
he's a guy who's going to be exactly what this offense needs. And there's something like we kind of fell in love a little bit with TJ Luther and Josh Cephas early in the season, but there's been some corrections there that I think a guy like Joe Robustelli, being a possession receiver, can correct.
For sure. And I think Robustelli's a great route runner too. And so you're going to create separation, which helps your quarterback if he doesn't have a gun of an arm. Now let's quickly get to this. Hey, Gregor, I've always liked Rick Tockett's coaching style. I'm not convinced about Babs, not just his off ice. I've read he's not big on physical toughness. I'm completely against this. Seems like Edmonton keeps going for the wimpy style of coaching. Buffalo didn't get great till the team decided to get tough and stand up for each other. I think the league thought that going away from toughness was the future, and now it's coming back to nasty. I don't love fighting, but I hate having our stars pushed around. And Draisaitl's play especially goes in the tank when he's targeted. He doesn't handle being bullied. He's definitely not a scrum guy. Nobody wants McDavid in fight. The need to surround these two with size and grit has never been more important from perplexed Oiler fan. Well, I will say one thing. I've really never seen Draisaitl get bullied very often. I don't see a lot of times where Draisaitl is intimidated by the opposition. Whether you add more grit and toughness around him, there's still going to be guys that will be physical with McDavid and Draisaitl. It's impossible to eliminate it. But I think if it's fair to say, and the games get a little dirty, does Edmonton have some grit? Murphy will fight. He's physical. Colton Dock, Trent Frederick. They got 3 guys. Pod Colson. I think in today's NHL, they don't have a heavyweight for sure. They don't have a heavy. But there's not a lot of teams in the West that do. The East is more of the arms race for the big physical teams right now. And that's how they play. I wouldn't, not all teams, ask Carolina. They don't really have that. So I don't know if I see the Oilers and McDavid. Well, first of all, Draisaitl, I'm trying to think the last time he was bullied or that he didn't play well when the games got physical. I actually think, I've always argued the Oilers play better when the emotion is higher. So yes, Babcock is, doesn't have historically super tough teams. But that to me is also, your GM's got to say, hey, guys, and even your leaders say, hey, I don't mind having it. We'll see. I don't think in today's NHL it's that big of a deal as much. It's a factor for sure. But I don't think the Oilers are that shrinking bots, but they clearly aren't going to be a super heavyweight team. But neither was Carolina. Hey, Gregor, Draisaitl was bullied in the LA series when his ankle was hurt. What? Are you talking about one takedown from Mikey Anderson? Did he? Okay, so if you said he was bullied in the series, did you see what he did the next series? What do you have? 15 points in 5 games? What are we talking about? Sorry. I don't recall LA. Like, Mickey Anderson cheap shot at him once. I didn't see Draisaitl shy away from it after that. So maybe I'm missing something, but I need to see actual evidence where you think that Leon Draisaitl is not showing up when the games get nasty. If you can show me some examples, that'd be great, because I can't remember many. We'll come back. We'll get to our stats of the day, brought to you by the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy, from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man.
No way. Watching from the sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the Bro Zone is where it's at.
But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
It's finally time to escape your 4 walls and see where your 4 wheels can take you. Sherwood Honda helps you head out on the road the way you want to, with the right vehicle, including freedom-seeking SUVs that give you the versatility to drive where, when, and how you want to. It sure would do some good to get out and stretch your horizons, and sure would be easier with Sherwood Honda.
Think a quality golf cart is out of your budget? Think again. At the Golf Cart People, we have a fantastic selection of fully inspected, pre-owned carts starting at just $4,500. Choose from gas, electric, or lithium-ion power to fit your lifestyle. And the best part, every used cart comes with a 1-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why wait? Get the cart you've always wanted today. Visit the Golf Cart People. Find out more at golfcartpeople.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Puck Drop Special at Papa John's. A large 2-topping pizza and 8-piece wings for only $28.99 with the promo code PuckDrop at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.352, welcome back. Monday afternoon. A lot of text flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. The Gregor Show always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can, of course, get in the game. World Cup, MLB, of course, PGA, CFL, and much more, including the Jason Gregor Show daily specials. You can get in on the red card drama. Who are you going for? Belgium, USA? Will karma come back to bite the United States? We shall see. We shall see. The Jays. Paging offense to the Jays. Haven't scored a run their last 22 innings. Tough one. Good day. Now, the good news for the Blue Jays are they are taking on the less what would I, they're not even really competitive right now. The Giants are 15 games under 500, so they're well back in the race, and they have given up a lot of runs. So we'll see if the Jays, this might be what they need to at least score a run or two, at least. We'll see. This might be the you take the under in this game. Pretty good chance you might want to, between the Jays tonight taking on the Giants. Under 8. might think about it. We'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Let's get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All-Star Construction. Specialize in power, gas, telecommunication, street lighting. They do all the underground utilities, and they are hiring right now. So if you go to Indeed.com and look up All-Star Construction, you can apply various roles. They're looking for just general laborers. If you're a hydrovac operator, backhoe operator, check it out at Indeed.com. Now, here's a few stats. We were talking about it earlier because we had a lot of people say, "Oh, you know what? Carlson's going to score 100 points." I'm like, okay. So let's just a little number crunching, because that's what the stats of the day are for. So if you look at the last 5 years in the National Hockey League, there are a total of 23 players who have scored 100 points over 5 years. So not even an average of 5 per season. In that time, McDavid's done it every year. Draisaitl, McKinnon, Kucherov, Pasternak have done it 4 or 5. Injuries for most of those guys, the only reason they didn't do it. Rantanen, Tkachuk, and Matthews did it twice. So there's 8 players who have done it twice in 5 years. And then there's 15 other players who did it once. Suzuki, Stamkos, Scheifele, Robertson, Elias Pettersson. By the way, he had 104 points. 2 years later, he had 52 points. Panarin, Nugent Hopkins, Natchez, Miller, Marner, Erik Karlsson, Kaprizov, Huberdeau, Goudreau, may he rest in peace, and Macklin Celebrini. That's it. So I know that we throw at 100 points because it's a big milestone and it's a round number to look at, but it is harder to achieve consistently. In a 5-year span, 8 guys have done it twice. It's hard. So you got to stay healthy. You got to stay productive. And then you got to maintain your confidence over that whole time. Look at Mitch Marner, really good player. Done it once. Kaprizov, once. Panarin, once. And I think Panarin, I'll look in the NHL. I want to do it quickly. Just over the over that span, as mentioned, Panarin's done it once. But I think Panarin is he's 6th in total points. So he's productive, 481 points in 397 games. He's played a lot of games. Hasn't missed a lot of games. Right? Like if you look at all the top scorers, and Panarin's only had 100 points once, he's played 397 games in that time. McDavid, 387. McKinnon, 377. Kucherov, 364. Draisaitl, 377. Pasternak, 395. Right? The only guy who's played more is Jason Robertson out of any of the top, and Nick Suzuki. Out of the top 20 scorers, only Suzuki, 410, and Robertson, 402. Played more than Artemi Panarin. And he's only had 100 points once. Robertson's had 100 points once, and Suzuki's had 100 points once. So when is Leo Carlsson? Because I know somebody said, yeah, guys, but he had 67 points in 70 games. Okay, but that prorates to 78 points in an 82-game season. Is he just automatically going to jump up 22 points next year? He might. But then he's got to do it again. And when you're making 18 mil, then you got to do it again and again. So is Leo Carlsson going to become, with Macklin Celebrini, that next wave of players who are 100-point guys regularly? I don't know, man. Like McDavid, I'll put him as an outlier because you know what? He reached 100 points in his second season, and then he just continued to do it. It's crazy. Right? And Leon Draisaitl has basically been a 100-point guy now for 8 straight years. The only 2 years he didn't do it was when the season was only 56 games and he had 84 points, which easily would have got him to 100 points. And then last year, he had 97 points in 65 games. He was 3 points away before he got hurt. If he doesn't miss the final 17 games, he's clearly getting 100 points. But those guys are rare, man. Now, Draisaitl had 3 seasons, 51 points, 77 points, 70 points, and then he jumped up to 105. Is Leo Carlsson going to do it? Maybe. Him and Porter Martone, if they play together in Philly, maybe. Or does he come back to Anaheim and he's with Cutter Gauthier? Sure, it's a possibility. But it's a bigger jump than people think to do it over and over again. So I'm sorry, but the suggestion of, well, you can live up to the 18 mil, I think you're fooling yourselves a little bit on that. To the major leagues, we mentioned the Toronto Blue Jays going the wrong way. They've been haven't scored a run in 22. Every game was a shutout in the weekend. They won 2-0, and then they got shut out both Saturday and Sunday. And if you look at the Blue Jays, and right now they're only 3 games out of a wild card spot. Texas is 3 games up on them. Houston's 2. Minnesota's 1.5. So they're not like that far out. But it was only 2 weeks ago where they were in a wild card spot, and now they're 3 games out. So that number, just as we get into later July, it becomes much more of an issue, I would think. So we'll see where it goes for the Toronto Blue Jays. But offensively, they're not good right now as a team. Like, it is wild, their inability to hit. Right? Like, it's crazy to me. So, like, you look as a team, the Blue Jays come in 25th in home runs with 88. They were 11th last year, so they're not even close to where they were for power anyway. Batting average, they're average. They're right in the middle. They're tied 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th with Chicago, the Rangers, and the Boston Red Sox. You look at runs scored for the Jays, they're 28th in that department. Like, it's hard to win, man, when you can't score. It's just that simple. Actually, they're 29th in runs. They're 28th in RBIs. The only team that has scored fewer runs than the Toronto Blue Jays, the San Diego Padres, who have 348. Jays have scored 356 runs so far this season. Not remotely good enough for them, especially when you consider just how many runs they've allowed, right, on the other side of it. Which isn't, they're like middle of the pack, having allowed 398, but when you don't score any runs, it's not good. So I wonder when they get to the point of, would they consider being a seller? Like, how many games out of the playoffs do they need to be a seller? In the CFL over the weekend, we saw some key injuries to quarterbacks. And so what does this mean? Winnipeg and Hamilton specifically. You're going to see some young guys come in, but what is this going to mean for, Hamilton all of a sudden, they take on Saskatchewan now? Trey Ford? We'll find out. Winnipeg, they're hosting Toronto. And that Chad Kelly's like, can Winnipeg's young quarterback come in and throw the ball as often as Chad Kelly? I don't know, man. We'll see. But that injuries are always part of it. There's no question. But when I look at the quarterback play, and your odds of making the playoffs are fairly heavily on your quarterbacks. And, Bo Levi Mitchell was having himself a fantastic season before that injury, which is unfortunate because, Bo Levi Mitchell was probably going to become the eighth player in CFL history to get to 50,000 career passing yards. And he still might. Like, he's only 36. And it's not that old anymore by the grand scheme of things. It's an ankle injury. It's not an ACL, thankfully for him. I think that would be a much harder rehab. But, Deck, if you're Hamilton, do you think it's Trey Ford time?
Well, it's certainly looking like it. I think that's just one respectfully. You kind of bite down on the mouthpiece and hope Bo Levi can come back.
Well, and come back anytime soon. Right?
Oh, yeah, of course not. But I just mean, like, generally speaking, for like the franchise.
Well, they're going to have to change their play calling.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
And incorporate the skill sets of Ford and see if it can work. So I'm very curious to see what happens there. What about Drew Brown in Winnipeg?
I like Drew Brown a lot. I thought he was going to be the starter in Ottawa. I wasn't convinced Jake Mayer was a better quarterback than he was. But Taylor, played well. Looks like a good quarterback. CIS kid. Very, very cool story.
Yeah, he had completed 11 of 15 passes. That was the first time since 1969 that two university quarterbacks played in the same game. Graduates of the university program. So that's good. But yeah, Elders, you think like obviously I'm guessing like Brown wasn't dressed maybe just due to simple ratio numbers.
Yeah, I don't know what would have gone into that one because you got him for the first round pick specifically for a situation like this. So that doesn't really make a lot of sense. I don't know what the intricacies behind that were, but like I said, Taylor showed up and showed out.
Yeah, he played pretty well for the one game. So I'm fascinated to see kind of how it's going to play out down the stretch. When we return, Cody Fajardo talking quarterback. He'll join us in the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. As we get to Declan Kruger Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property services you can feel good about, get Hire Good. Site cleanup, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. Stable jobs create stable lives. HireGood.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It was Spain over Portugal 1-0 earlier today in the FIFA World Cup. The United States and Belgium up next at 6. In the MLB, just one final from earlier was the Royals over the Phillies 15-1. Next game on the schedule, we'll see the Yankees and the Rays at 4:40, and the Blue Jays, of course, in action at 7:45 out in San Francisco. Kevin Gausman on the bump in that one. News from around the sporting world: the Flames have signed defenseman Noah Nemec to a 5-year, $36.25 million contract. And elsewhere in the NHL, Jason Robertson and Trevor Zegras, two notable names among 15 players who filed for arbitration. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been the Sports 1440 Update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical, lighting, and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. It's Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
It's cone season at McDonald's. Grill cones for $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. Leading Edge Physio.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock, Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Donnie P's running it there. Give him a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Have a little chat with him. He'll appreciate it. Of course, lots going on in the sporting world again today. MLB is going on. We've got World Cup. We've got 5 teams confirmed for the quarterfinals as Spain punches their ticket later on tonight, Belgium and the United States. And then tomorrow, the final 2 spots. A lot of people think that Argentina is going to beat Egypt, but that's why they play the games. You never know. And then Colombia and Switzerland. CFL action, green and gold fans. Thursday night, the weather looking good. Looking real good. And hey, do you want to go? We got 2 sets of 4 tickets to go to the game. Want to bring your group of friends? Have a good time. It's this Thursday down at Commonwealth, courtesy of Elks Nation. So text in with your name and your email, and we'll pick a few lucky winners, and you will go to the game on Thursday. Make sure 100% you can go. Don't waste tickets, because we have people there at Elks Nation. If you don't show up, you'll never get a pair of tickets again. We don't like to waste them because there's a lot of people who want to go. So 4-pack of seats, pretty nice. 833-401-1440. Time to talk a little football as we get to our Elks Report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home and no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC, or bundle them together and save even more at legacyheating.ca, as we are joined by the starting quarterback for the Green and Gold, Cody Fajardo. Cody, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. It's a wild game. I guess, obviously, you guys, anytime a team loses, you take it way harder than a win. When you got a chance now to look over the film, where are the areas you feel you want your offense as a whole to improve for Thursday?
Yeah, I just felt like we had a great opportunity that we let slip kind of through our fingers there. Playing really good ball going into that game. And there's a handful of areas that we just didn't show up on. And offensively speaking, the turnovers, that's something that jumps off the page, especially for me, throwing 3 picks in a game. You're not going to win very many games like that. We had the unfortunate fumble in the red zone. Also, just felt like we didn't really create enough sparks. First down efficiency was not where we needed to be. Our run game, they did a great job of kind of corralling our run game, but that doesn't mean we hit the panic button and we can't win football games. Like, we have enough talent on this offense this year to have to throw the ball 50 times and we can win. It's just, that's not our recipe for success. It's not drop back 50 times. It's find a way to be efficient on first down, wear teams down. So when we get in the fourth quarter, we feel like we have control of the game. We control the LOS, the line of scrimmage. And then that's when we pounce on our opponents. It just felt like that entire BC game, we were kind of playing from behind. You're pushing a little bit more, got into a situation that we weren't used to. But I think the guys are pissed off, myself included. There's nothing better than a short week after a loss because you have an opportunity to get that bad taste out of your mouth. So guys are chomping at the bit, myself included, to get back out there. And we got a worthy opponent in Ottawa, another team that's desperate like BC was last week with 0 wins in their record. So it's going to be no slouch by any means. Like, they're going to come in here and give us our best. So we got to be ready to play this football game and not get shocked like we were last week.
Cody, we saw on the one interception, and everybody saw the replay. And as a leader of the team, Keon Julian Grant, who scored 2 touchdowns, was great. It kind of broke out of that pattern and then kind of slowed up. And obviously that wasn't the call. As a leader of the group, is that you have to say something, or is it like the point gets pretty clear that he knows, like, hey, man, you got to run every route to the finish?
Yeah, he came to me and apologized. And it's just unfortunate that it was a turnover. We were driving on that series. We started, I believe, on our own 17-yard line, and we found ourselves across midfield. And I just told him, look, I trust you over any DB in this league. So even if the defender's playing high and you don't think you're open, it's a one-on-one ball at the end of the day. Like, I'll always fall in the favor of our receivers. Like I said, I feel like we're much more talented at the receiver position this year where we can throw those balls up. They're in man coverage. They were so afraid of our speed and getting beat deep that a lot of their guys were playing off technique. So he saw it as zone coverage. Normally that ball's not supposed to go there in zone. It ended up being an off-man situation. We were able to sit down, hash it out yesterday when we watched film. It won't happen again. It's just sometimes you need those unfortunate things to happen, to learn from, to grow from. And it's one of those things where he said, look, it's inexcusable. You got to run every route. He's a veteran in this league, a guy that I rely on heavily, a guy that I wanted here in Edmonton when I left Montreal just because I know what he can do. So he'll have a great bounce-back game. He had 2 touchdowns out of that game and could have had a third later on. So the sky's the limit for Keon. There's just a few times that, especially early in the year, you kind of on different pages, things happen, and you learn from it. Fortunately, it's still early in the season. Yes, that hurts us in the grand scheme of things, but by no means does that mean we hit the panic button and our season's over because we lost 1 football game. If you would have told me going into this year you'll be 3-1 after 4 games, I would have been like, hell yeah, let's do it. We're in a really good spot, especially playing on the road for 3 games. Now we get back-to-back home games here where we need our fans to show out for us and defend home turf. That's what I think we did so great last year, building that momentum, is we brought back winning in Edmonton, and we got to keep that going this year. So we have a great opportunity, and hopefully in front of a great crowd and great weather, to kind of right all of our wrongs that we had against BC on Saturday, against Ottawa on Thursday.
Cody Fajardo joins us, quarterback for the Green and Gold. And Cody, you mentioned, hey, if we have to, we can drop back 50 times. We'll do it. It's not necessarily what our plan is, but you drop back 51 times. You're only sacked once, and weren't hit a ton considering there's that many dropbacks. Your O-line, I know they talked about they didn't like the running success in that game, but for the most part this year, you've been getting really good protection. When you know that's happening, how does that change your mindset as a quarterback? Are you just more relaxed in the pocket? Like, what goes into it allows you to be better when you look and say, hey, man, these guys are giving me a better protection, no offense, than what you had last year?
Yeah, it's a huge bonus. You're able to get through your progression. So a lot of times there was some 2nd and longs, 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13s where I got through their progression and I'm throwing a 6-yard route and guys are yakking it up for first downs. Normally, when you don't have that kind of time, you got to press into your primary read, your 1 or 2, because you feel the pressure. You got to throw the ball. Ball's incomplete because it's a tight window, or you got to scramble, and now you got to try and make a play with the defense rallying. So there was a handful of times in that game that we threw underneath because I had the time, and our offensive line did such a great job, which, in my opinion, the strongest part of that defense was their front seven. Like, they paid some guys over there for that defensive front, and our offensive line played incredibly well for a majority of that game, and putting them in a tough spot when you're losing that entire game. It felt like you're passing. The defensive line knows you're passing. You got to put the ball at risk at times just because you're trying to make up some lost time and some lost points. Our offensive line, they handled it really, really well. So that's what I'll say. If you looked at our second down conversion, we were like 67%, which is winning football. Like that's incredible, especially for how non-existent our run game was, especially for the first 3 games, how great we were on first down, getting to second and medium, to have a non-existent run game, to be able to be that successful on second down. It just goes to show that turnovers bite you in the tail. And we had some unfortunate turnovers in that game, something that we pride ourselves in. I pride myself in as a quarterback, that protecting the football, and you got a chance to win games late in the fourth quarter. And we just didn't do that. You're going to play 18 games on the year. Sometimes you're going to go out there and you're not going to have your best. And I felt like that was one of those games we just didn't have our best. So like I said, we're not hitting the panic button at all. We learn a lot more from losses than you do wins. Sometimes wins mask a little bit of your problems or some of the things that you have. And you just say, hey, look, we found a way to win. But when you get kicked in the teeth, you kind of just pick up your pants and your boots and you say, let's go again. And I think that's what the guys are ready for this week.
Cody, you're facing a team. It is a short week, but it's also a team that you faced earlier in the season. Kind of walk us through the preparation in a short week, and is it all a little bit easier because you faced this team once already?
Yeah, very beneficial because you kind of know how they're going to play you. Obviously, with that first game, we expected them to do one thing on defense that they didn't do at all in the entire game. So we were kind of prepping all training camp to see a certain defense. They came out in a completely different look than we were used to. Obviously, the rain might have changed that. So anytime you're playing the same team twice on a short week, you have a little bit more benefit because you have kind of those pre-notions, those pre-game ideas from the first game. But it's the CFL. It's a lot easier to change your defense than it is your offense. Your offense takes a while to change. So for us, there's going to have some wrinkles, which most defenses have, but knowing what they have on defense, I know they got nicked up a little bit in the back end. Seeing what they kind of shuffle their guys from that Saskatchewan game is always a question mark going into these short weeks. But that team's going to be hungry coming in here and fully expecting to get back on the right track. But I told the guys this week they're walking into a buzzsaw. Like, we're pissed off. We're ready to go. It doesn't matter short week, long week. The guys are pissed off, and we want to show up and show out for our fans. We want to protect home turf. So that's the goal this week against an Ottawa team that's really desperate right now, but they're going to throw everything and the kitchen sink at us, and we got to be able to kind of absorb it, counterpunch, and stay composed.
Cody Fajardo joins us. Cody, young Cephas as a receiver, what have you seen from him, and how would you like to, if any, get him more involved offensively?
Yeah, it's difficult. His position that he plays, just in any CFL offense, when you play number one to the field, it's really hard to get you involved. I think McSimic does a good job of moving him around, getting him to the boundary, getting him to number 2 in the slot to the field. It's just one of those positions that if you look at total targets across the league, that's probably the least targeted wide receiver position. Now, that's not saying that we can't find ways to get balls in his hands, and that was the first thing I told him after the game. I think he had 1 catch on 3 targets. But what I've found from him just throughout training camp, throughout the first 3 weeks, is the guy's hands are incredible. I mean, every time you throw to him, he seems to come down with the football. He's got a great sense of the game. He's continuing to learn the CFL game, and each week he's gotten so much better just as he continues to learn this game. He's been a down south receiver his whole life, learning the waggle, learning the different intricacies of a CFL defense. It's always different because there's 12 guys on the field. So the more he learns, the better he's going to be for us. But yeah, you're right. I mean, like a talented guy like that who's played meaningful games in the NFL, we have to find ways to get the ball in his hands more because he's just a difference maker for us. But I thought Austin Mack had his best game in green and gold. since he signed up with the team for 141. I mean, pretty damn incredible for us that needed to drop back and pass the ball. He was able to make some explosive plays for us down the stretch. So I think our receivers are settling in, especially our young guys with Cephas and TJ. Those guys are getting a lot of game action, and that's good for us.
So, Cody, you Robustelli, I know, is slowly getting closer. I don't expect him to play this week, but he would in the future, so that'll give you another weapon. Rankin, they kind of have maybe you want to get 20 touches in his hands sometimes, whether it's passing or running. And in this game, the numbers were kind of flipped a little bit. And you mentioned just because you're going through your progressions, you're able to, I think he had 10 receptions on 13 attempts. When you have a guy that is that much of a weapon, do you just have it in your head like, okay, like we got to find a way? Like how much is that as you? How much of it is Mick Simic and the play calling to decide how often he gets the ball?
Yeah, we talk about it going into the week. I mean, BC has been one of the toughest teams to face against running the ball. Like they haven't let very many people go over 100 yards. So we knew going into that it was going to be difficult. We were going to try to establish a run if we could. Obviously, it makes everything a little bit easier. But they were a really quarters team, which means just 4 high defenders, very hard to push the ball down the field. Made kind of me be patient, take what they give me. And when that happens, you get linebackers out of the box. They're getting 15 yards of depth. You're getting 4-man rush. So the guys that are open are the underneath stuff. And when you leave Rankin with that much space, especially later in the game, they knew that they were up multiple scores. The only way to let us back in that game is by giving up an explosive. They were testing me to push the ball down the field, hoping that I make a mistake so they can get the ball back. But I was able to get the ball in Rankin's hands on some second and longs, first downs. He makes a guy miss. He turns a 4-yard pass into a 20-yard gain. Like that's the difference maker he can be. It's just so hard to have to do that each and every single series, each and every single play. When you have a run game going and he gets a couple touches here, then we throw the ball out to Austin Mack and Keon and TJ and Cephas and O'Leary Orange, and then we run the ball again. Like that's our recipe for success. When defenses don't know what we're going to do, are we going to hand it off to Rankin? Are we going to throw it to our receivers? Are we going to throw a quick screen to Rankin? Like that's when we're at our best offensively, and that's been our identity the first 3 weeks and why we've won those 3 games. We got a little bit lopsided because of the score, because of what they were doing to us on defense, and that just makes it very difficult to win football games. So I would like to be a little bit more balanced in the future. But most teams are going to look at it. They're going to see that as the recipe to beat the Elks and stop the run and make us throw it 50 times. So we got to kind of bang our head against the wall and trust the process in the run game and hope to spring a couple runs early so we can get some confidence in the run game and not just have to drop back.
One last one. As an offensive guy, but when you're watching the game and you see the game that Joel DeBlanco had, from the big hits to just, lots of big tackles, Cody, where are you as far, I know are you on this, like, do you get to watch the defense very often? Or are you always just kind of watching the laptop and you see it more on highlights?
Yeah, I'm doing more like scouting on the sideline. Occasionally I'll peek a look here or there. What I'll say about Joel is he finds a way around the ball every single time. There's that tipped pass and he's laying out and picking the ball, and it's just like he finds himself. He's just a football player. Football players have a nose for the football. They just find themselves around the ball. He's a sure tackler. I thought that our defense after the game, that was one thing they wanted to be better on was tackling, and I thought Joel did a really good job of when he was in space of making good tackles in space, which is really hard to do in this league with how big the field is and how many talented offensive players there are. But yeah, he's become one of the captains on our defense. We've been cycling through Mike linebackers with the injuries that we've had, and so the constant with Joel being that will linebacker, he's had to help a lot in the box and being around and stopping the run. And I know James Butler had a really good game, but he did some good things to slow him down. It's hard when every week it seems like you're playing a new Mike linebacker. But thank God we got Joel because he's helping us make it right in some situations. Our young guys are playing extremely well, but sometimes it's baptism by fire. You get thrown in there and you gotta fight. You gotta find ways to adapt to the CFL game quickly. And these rosters are so small that it's like everybody in our building is going to have to play at some point. And that's what I love so much about the CFL. You're not just going to be stashed away on a practice roster for 15 weeks, 17 weeks, like in the NFL. It's like you're going to be up. You're going to have to play special teams, start on defense, start on offense. You're going to have to help this football team win games, and you're going to get an opportunity. I can't tell you when, but it's going to be at some point in the season. So it just goes to show we got some great depth here. We just got to stay healthy and hope that the injury bug doesn't continue to hit us, because we got a very talented football team this year, and I think the sky's the limit for this squad.
Well, Cody, good luck on Thursday, and good news. The weather looks like it's going to be great, so should help for a bigger crowd on Thursday, and hope you guys get back on the winning side of things. Always great to catch up with you. Have an awesome day.
Yeah, great talking to you. That's music to my ears. Great weather means great offense.
There you go. That is Cody Fajardo, quarterback for the Edmonton Elks, as they look to improve to 4-1 on Thursday night. We'll take a quick break. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and a new voice in town joins us next. You're on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call-solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business, and for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience, All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged, and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair. And get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to RobertsonBodyWorks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
For decades, the pioneer spirit of Alberta has been exemplified in the chuck wagon racing legacy of the Dorchester family. And today, you can experience it every time you hit the links. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course is in top mid-season form. Enjoy the longer days on this historic 18-hole course near Pigeon Lake. Stunning views, reasonably priced, and only 40 minutes from Edmonton on newly paved roads. Play the course built with pioneer spirit and family pride. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course. Book your tee time today at dorchestergolf.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Ewell. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ewell.ca, your partners in power.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Four thirty as we roll through a busy Monday afternoon. We got congratulations to our two winners, Brett and Eddie. You are going to the games on a game on Thursday, courtesy of Elks Nation. So enjoy it. The weather looks great, which always helps. Makes it for a more enjoyable night. And maybe for the second time this year, the Elks will get a win at home. They're 2-1 on the road, and of course, 1-0 at home. Their only home game was a monsoon, so should be nice to get a warm weather game. Now, let's get to new host on the station. If you missed it earlier this morning, the Tom Gazzola show debuted from 7 to 11, and Tom Gazzola, of course, in the Edmonton media scene since 2008, is back. We're working together again, which is awesome. Tommy, how you doing, my man?
Pretty good, Greg's. Pretty good. That was a fun start to the show. A lot of positive reinforcement, a lot of great comments, and it was nice to just get one in. You know, we've been waiting to finally kick this thing off, and to finally do it was nice. The crew's awesome. We've got a lot of strong, talented broadcasters and people at our station, and to be able to work with them is fantastic. So I think if the start is indicative of anything, then the show's going to be doing just fine. And listen, big shoes to fill with KK stepping away, but it'll find its voice. But so far, so good.
Yeah. Do you kind of have a few plans or strategies or something you'd like to incorporate? I know when you come in, you're not just going to upset the apple cart, everything right away, but you have kind of some things you have planned out over the next few months.
Yeah. Like nothing. I do. The answer is yes, but like nothing deliberate, not knocking any walls down or, completely disrupting anything. I think for me, it's, hey, what works with me and Brandon? I think there's already like a good chemistry there. I know him and I work together just a tiny bit at 1260, getting like acclimated with the show, knowing the clock is always, it's a simple dorky radio thing to say and broadcasting in general, but to just like feel the rhythm of everything. And then I think that way, you feel it out, you build up a base, and then ideas will pop up. Maybe you have an idea that comes to you right away and you think, I think this will work. We should do it right away. And sometimes you completely scrap it because it's like, no, that maybe wasn't the best fleshed out thing. So I like when it organically starts to develop, and I think that will, but I know Laddie is about to go to the Czech Republic and he's got some plans there, and we're going to have him for the next couple of weeks, but you're going to hear from Sean Bell. And I think that's one change, and you're going to hear from Belsey on the station a lot more. And one that, if you're not familiar with Sean, he's well-spoken, first of all. He's very, very well educated in the game from all aspects, from high-end player and prospect to pro for a long time, not in the NHL, obviously. He didn't play a ton of NHL games, but he played a lot of pro hockey in a lot of different and some of the best leagues in the world, including the best league in the world. And then he found his voice as a broadcaster, and he's not afraid to share his opinion, but he does it in a way that's not disrespectful and he does it in a way that somebody who doesn't know the X's and O's of hockey might understand, and he has that ability to articulate things like that. So Belzy will be one change, I guess we could throw in there right off the hop. But as we go along, maybe we uncover a few things, and that's the beauty of this business is you find out things and epiphanies come to you at the most unexpected moments or in the weirdest ways. And you've been in the game for a long time, Greg's. You know how it is. Sometimes you strike gold and you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Where the hell did that come from? And then other times you think you have the best idea and it's like, that ended up being a dud. So obviously it'll take some time, but we'll get there.
What's your thoughts? Are the Flyers going to get Carlsson or are the Ducks going to match?
Man, I don't know how you don't match after you pat Verbeek and you're saying we'll match anything. And then somebody tries to call your bluff and throws all their money and the chips in the pile. And if you walk away from that, I think that you're going to expose yourself in the National Hockey League, and other GMs are going to know that you might be full of BS in regard to Pat Verbeek if he doesn't match. So tactic by Danny Briere, like through the roof, outstanding. Like this is a move. We're asking Kevin Kurz today, like, is it calculated? Is it reckless? Is it just, crazy? And he thought it was smart and wily. And that's why I think it was a good tactic and it puts Verbeek on the spot. Greg's, I don't know how you don't match it after going out there and saying, we'll match anything. Well, anything is a monster 18 million per year contract for an extended period of time. And if they are serious about making Leo Carlsson the centerpiece of their team, and I know they have other great players too, but this is a time where they're going to have to put their money where their mouth is, because you put a statement out there publicly like Pat Verbeek did, and somebody says, oh yeah, and you back down, you look terrible, I think, in my opinion.
Looking at the Elks game on Thursday against Ottawa, the Elks suffered their first loss of the season in BC. And they didn't play poorly while the run game, although they didn't run the ball very much. They passed the ball 51 times. We just had Cody Fajardo on, and he said, hey, that's not necessarily our recipe for success. But it was interesting. Mark Killam said, we didn't have a great week. The coaches didn't have a great week. And Cody Fajardo multiple times in his interview with me mentioned how annoyed the players are. Everybody's going to lose. A lot of times in sports, it's how you respond. I'm interested to see kind of what the Elks can do here, because the run game hasn't been great the last 6 quarters for sure. Right? They were great in the first half against Winnipeg, but the last 6 quarters it hasn't been there. And I don't think they're going to love their run defense lately either.
No, and you and I kind of talked about it a bit at the studio about some of the things that kind of fell through. And I know we had Daryl Jabone on the morning show today, and he talked about his first start. And, James Butler and the BC offense attacked the middle and they had success. And, it's a welcome to the show type moment. I know Jabone plays on specials and has gotten into games, but it's different when you're the guy in the middle and you have to stop the run and they're targeting you. And BC was very effective. It's interesting to hear Killam say that, the coaches need to be better. Maybe that's him just trying to absorb some of the blame. That could be a tactic too, but I believe him. I don't think he's going to BS a lot of people. Mark Killam, Greg's, like, he's a pretty upfront guy. And if he doesn't like something, and if he knows something and doesn't want to give it away, he'll keep the secret close to his chest, but he also won't totally, throw you the stupidest line ever and BS you through something and you go, I don't know if I believe you. He's not that type of guy. But I think that's him kind of absorbing some of the blame, and that's fine. And I wonder too, I was thinking about it watching the game when things were kind of slipping away, especially in the fourth quarter, if maybe this loss, not really a wake-up call, but a reminder that, even though it was a great 3-0 start, and there were some, tough moments in the 3 games, it wasn't all smooth sailing, and that's good because that builds up character and builds up a stronger team, more resilient team when you have tough moments and you get through them. But I wonder if it's a bit of a wake-up call to say, okay, yeah, we're good. We know we're good, but we're not there yet. And a loss to BC, who was struggling and was dealing with tons of frustration, and they beat us, I think, not handily, but well. is a chance for the Elks to reflect and go, all right, dust yourself off, regroup, sharpen up. If there were some bad habits starting to creep in, here's a time to nip them in the bud. And the perfect opportunity lays before them with this Red Blacks team coming in. And like MBT, Greg's, when I saw MBT coming back, I'm like, oh boy. And I know, yeah, like Drew Brown going to Winnipeg and Dinwiddie talking about him kind of making the quarterback's room uncomfortable with Jake Mayer winning the starting job. But when I saw MBT, I go, oh, well, this is going sideways in a hurry for the Ottawa Red Blacks, and the Elks can help that on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm not sold that he might be the best guy there. We'll see how it plays out. The Edmonton Oilers announced the Hamidulin contract, as well as Stastny's contract today. Owen Michaels gets a two-way deal this year. It's a one-way deal next year at $900K in the NHL. The Oilers have 8 defensemen who played in the NHL last year. Alec Regula would be another one who's in the minors. Because they're going to carry 3 goalies, I don't see them carrying 8 defensemen because they got more than 12 forwards too. So there's going to be some guys they're going to have to put on waivers. Where do you come out on the current 8D? I have Stastny number 8, and really he's the 5th left defenseman. You could even make an argument that he's close, he might be like 8.4, and Regula's right behind him, who's younger, who's had a lot of injuries, but he's a right shot D-man. Do you see Stastny here this year?
Oh, if so, maybe due to injury, and you don't want that to happen. I know when he came here, and that was the fallout of the Brett Kulak Stu Skinner trade. He was being tabbed as like a Kulak light. I don't really buy that. I know he skates well. I know he can move the puck. He's quite a bit smaller than Brett Kulak was. And I understand the appeal about his positive traits. And I know he does everything he can with his 6 foot tall stature. But yeah, to me, he'd be a guy on the outside looking in. And I'm glad you bring up Alec Regula, because remember how much hype was around Regula at a training camp? He had a very strong training camp, and there's nothing that we should take away from him having a good camp. But the hype started to build up, and then he got blown up by Evander Kane, and all of a sudden he's a forgotten man. And it's good to remind people that he's a Stan Bowman guy as well. And eventually, these guys are going to want to play in the NHL, especially with getting contracts that they've been given. And they feel like they're knocking on the door because they're not young pros. They're, 25, 26 years old now. And then Ty Emberson has kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit. But no, I think Stastny could be the guy that ends up on the outside looking in. But again, health, as we've seen, is going to be a big factor in all of this. Jake Wallman, you hope, stays healthy. Matthias Ekholm has had some injury struggles in the last couple of years. He's getting older. That's very fair. And then obviously Shaq Mukamadulin is a interesting and I think kind of player I'm positively curious to keep an eye on and optimistic about as well, because I think he's slowly building his game up. I mean, you got to like the qualities he's bringing. 6'4", not a ton of offense, but he gets in the way, rangy, gangly, however you want to describe him, willing to do the things, sacrifice defensively, block pucks. There's a lot to like there, and the potential's good. And then I know people are hyped up about Ryan Shea, and I'm curious to see how he does. So yeah, they have too many guys and not enough spots, and maybe that's a good thing. It's better than hoping on guys to make the jump that were always tweeners, where, Stastny's been in the NHL, Emberson's been in the NHL, and they don't have to really prove themselves or show everybody that they're ready to finally step into the NHL. These are NHL caliber defensemen, albeit on the lower end, but it's better to have these types of guys than, tweeners or journeymen.
Tommy, we're happy to have you as part of Sports 1440, you and Belsey. So we look forward to chatting with you again. Enjoy the day. And how was your first? Now I know you've filled in on morning shows, but are you looking forward to a regular schedule now?
The regular schedule is huge. The work-life balance thing's very, very real. I'm learning that as I acquire wisdom. Greg's, you and I have known each other for a long time, and maybe that wasn't a priority back in the day, but the 7 a.m. start too is clutch. It's a game changer. So when I woke up today, 5:45, sun was up, birds were chirping. I was ready to go. And yeah, it's a game changer. So I'm pumped. Glad to have the first show in the books, and away we go, man.
Awesome, buddy. Well, we're happy to have you. Thanks for this, Tommy. We'll talk to you again soon. Are you on the sidelines on Thursday?
I'm on the sidelines Thursday. Looking forward to that. We've got Marshall Ferguson and Dwayne Ford, two great guys. So it should be a fun broadcast.
Awesome, buddy. Thanks, man. Well, have a great day.
Thanks, Gregs.
There you go. That's Tom Gazzola, new morning show host here on Sports 1440 from 7 to 11. We'll come back with 5 questions. It's a Gregor show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped, top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
CanTorque has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at CanTorque.com.
For a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Tickets on sale now at silenticecenter.com. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Boxing Week is back at the Brick. Don't wait until winter. Get blowout pricing now. Save 50% off sofas when you buy the matching piece. Save up to 25% off bedroom and dining, and save up to 40% off select mattresses. Plus, get free local delivery when you use your Flexity card. And buy more, save more. Up to $500 off select major appliances. Don't miss the return of Boxing Week, only at the Brick. Exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
Hi, Edmonton. With summer adventures calling, there's no better way to answer than from behind the wheel of your Subaru WRX. The WRX delivers turbocharged performance, confidence-inspiring Subaru all-wheel drive, and the kind of driving excitement that makes you look for excuses to hit the road. Summer won't last forever, but the memories will. So make sure you give yourself something to remember. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and test drive the WRX yourself. Welcome to Uncommon.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. Made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical, Find your solution at www.cantorque.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.451, how you doing? Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where coming up tonight, Belgium and the United States. You can see who's going to be the sixth team moving to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Also remind you, tomorrow, Lotto Max, 20 million and 20 prizes of 100K at playalberta.ca. As it's time now to get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Saving you more? That's what they do. So you can stop in The Brick as their appliance sale gets going on Thursday. So check it out. And get no interest on appliances, OAC with Flexity, and well as $1,000 off all appliance packages at thebrickandthebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Okay, question number 1. What was your scouting report on Dale Jabom in his first start for the Elks at that Mac linebacker spot?
Well, obviously, hey, the interception was great. I actually loved his return on the interception. Man, he almost made it into the end zone. So I was pretty impressed when he had the ball in his hands. He was holding it better than Rankin's held it a few times lately. Here, you can't have a fumble every game for your superstar. But at times, it looked like I thought he overplayed some of the runs, but that's to be expected, man. Pro sports first game in, I thought he got better. I see a lot of potential. You?
Yeah, I didn't think he got off blocks very well. I thought his first step was sharp, but I thought it was still tentative. I know that's kind of a contradiction, but bear with me on that one. I thought he just played with a lot of nervousness, which, like you said, is to be expected. And the stat line was very pretty, but James Butler, when you go for 135 yards, 90% of the time it's up the A gap. There's one player on the field who needs to fill those A gaps, and it's the Mac linebacker. So a lot to grow from, but I thought it also left a lot to be desired. Question number 2, we've talked about this a decent bit, but in terms of breaking it down into the actual specifics, what could an offer sheet for Connor Bedard look like in terms of years in AAV, and then who could it come from?
Well, if you look at like who's got the cat, I guess Philadelphia, maybe if they lose out on this one, they could turn around and try another one. But if Carlsson got 18 on an offer sheet. Now, the great news for Chicago is that you offer sheets aren't something you can use as a comparable in arbitration. But that doesn't mean that the agent of Connor Bedard isn't going to say, hey, wait a sec, my guy's got 60 some more points than this guy. And the team's going to say, yeah. And that team's got no chance to win, which I do believe I agree with. So I don't think one's coming. I think this is the one. But if it did, it would be Philadelphia again, because what would they have to lose? They already made one. So it would be Philadelphia, and Seattle is the one that might make the most sense. Connor Bedard is from the West Coast. Would he be interested? I think it's Seattle, because I believe Seattle was a team that also made an offer to Carlsson. He just signed the Philadelphia one.
Question number 3, I actually got the fact wrong. It was yesterday on the day in 2017 that Connor McDavid signed his 8-year, $100 million contract, which when you look at what he did, obviously different kind of cap situation, but still incredible value. So what is the best value contract in sports right now?
Go ahead. You have one?
To be honest, it seems really crazy to say because his contract is 4 years, $156 million. But I think it might be Jalen Brunson. Like, players of his caliber are going for 5 years, 250, if not more. Obviously, Cale Makar, what he's done on his contract, I think has been incredible value. again, it's a weird one because like he's getting paid so much money, but I think Pat Surtain at 4 years, $96 million is crazy value. Derek Stingley's getting 3 years, $90 million. So those were the three without going too much into it that came to my mind.
Well, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's still pretty good deal for OKC. But like Connor McDavid's new contract begins 2 years at $12.5 million. He led your league in scoring last year. It's hard to find one when you look around the league and see what other players are making, and the fact that his was just signed. This is not one that was signed 5 years ago and now it looks better. So it's hard to find a contract that is that's better than McDavid's, considering his stature and when the contract is actually beginning, right? Like this guy's in the last year of a 5-year deal. Okay, yeah, it's really good. But this guy's in the first year of a new deal.
Question about, and actually, I guess I should throw Cooch in there as well. Although to your point, it was one of the ones that became good, not signed good necessarily. Question number 4, filed for arbitration. Will it get there? Probably not. But what would Jason Robertson's money look like as it goes to arbitration?
And this is like the contract negotiation. It just has no end. Yeah. It's been going on forever, it seems. I would say, well, Dallas, I know, has offered $12 million. So I don't see how what they've offered publicly is going to really differ from anything they'd offer in arbitration. So I think they're going to come in at 12, and I think Robertson's going to come in at 14. And now the arbitrator split the middle? Maybe. But that's what I think it comes to.
And question number 5, Spain and Portugal earlier today. Spain winning that one 1-0. Portugal out, and you would think it's Ronaldo's last World Cup. So he's obviously going to end his career, no World Cup, unless something insane happens at 45. So where does he rank for you all time in terms of the best footballers?
Yeah, it's a great debate. You've got Ronaldo, Messi, Pele, Maradona. Who else? I don't know. Would anybody else be in the top 4? I don't know. It's hard to, when you look at Ronaldo and then you look at what Messi's doing and think that, okay, well, just look at World Cup production, because it is best on best in World Cup. And then I know, you're playing in different leagues now, and Messi's not playing in the top league in the world, but he's still playing against really good players. But man, I'd probably put him. I might put him 3rd. I'm probably biased, but I really like Pele, and then I have Messi ahead of him.
All right, that's all I have for you. Listen, I don't like Ronaldo. I've never liked how he approaches the game. I've never liked kind of the attitude he carries himself with. But that said, I still have him number 2 behind Messi. But if someone wanted to give me an argument for Maradona or Pele ahead of him, I will absolutely hear it. I think it is more than reasonable. I still personally have him number 2.
All right. It's become you can't just look at one stat to say, okay, well, this is what makes them worse. But I think if you have to look at everything collectively, it's hard to find an argument that says, okay, well, he's better. Him and Messi are different. There's no question about it. I do think Ronaldo's, personality and are some things that maybe rub some people the wrong way, but they're obviously both elite. Like when you're talking the greatest footballers, if you're in the conversation for greatest footballer of all time, that means you're really good. So whether you're 1, 2, 3, or 4, it's a pretty good place to be in for sure. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Mark Spector will join us. AJ Jakubek, Cam Tate in a busy final hour of the show. Let's get to Declan Kruger Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. In the month of July, you get employee pricing. That's right. You pay what they pay. And that is a significant, legit savings. So stop in looking for trucks. Maybe you want a new vet. Check it out right now, northgategm.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Scores in the majors right now. Astros lead the Nats 1-0 in the bottom of the first. In the bottom of the second, the Yankees and Rays tied 0-0. The next game on the dock will be in about 15 minutes. The Mets and the Braves. And later tonight, we will see the Blue Jays and the Giants out in San Francisco. Kevin Gausman on the mound in that one. The one final today saw the Royals over the Phillies 15-1. World Cup action, the one final from earlier, Spain over Portugal 1-0. Neutrino with the winner in the 91st minute. The United States and Belgium up next at 6. News from around the sporting world is Nikola Jokic is opting to wait on a Nuggets extension until next summer, while DeMar DeRozan was waived by the Sacramento Kings, and Quinton Post signed a 3-year offer sheet with the Memphis Grizzlies. In the NHL world, Simone Nemec signing a 5-year, $36.25 million contract with the Flames, and Jason Robertson, Trevor Zegras, and Jamie Drysdale among 15 players to file for arbitration. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Kickoff is coming July 9th. Elks, Red Blacks at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Salute to Service presented by YEG Plus. Help us celebrate the heroes and first responders who make our communities great. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
You probably know Stingray for radio advertising.
What about digital advertising?
Yeah, we do that.
Connected TV?
We do that.
Search and social?
And that.
Programmatic? Digital out of home?
We do it all. Endless digital platforms to connect your business to more customers, to intrigue them, engage them, so they choose your product or service. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and let us help your business grow. We are Stingray. That's what we do.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
You may get up early, but more than likely, the team at GS Construction have already gotten up before you, grabbed a coffee, headed to the site, and started their day. So while Edmonton wakes up, GS crews are already underground, quietly keeping things moving, upgrading, and laying the new underground infrastructure for our growing city. If you're the kind of person who goes to sleep with their steel-toed boots on, GS Construction wants to hear from you. We're looking for a maintenance foreman as well as a building and yard attendant. Visit gsconstruction.ca for more.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, "Wow, great hair transplant." I want them to think,
Wow, great hair.
"Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today."
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by 01 Athletic Care, Edmonton's multidisciplinary health clinic at West Edmonton Mall. Physicians, physio, massage, sports psychology, and more. One team, one roof, one plan. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. How you doing? Made it through another Monday. Get your way home. Take your time. Relax. It's sunny out. Hey, what is this? A few days without rain. This is glorious. Glorious. Can't remember the last time that happened. So that was a nice change for sure. So I hope you are having an awesome Monday afternoon. Sports world just keeps on turning. I like it. Lots of controversy. We're going to get to that with AJ Jakubek talking about the World Cup of soccer and an unprecedented decision to waive a suspension, something that simply does not happen very often in the World Cup, like ever. So that's weird. Also, we got the offer sheet. We're just waiting, but the decision won't be made, I wouldn't think, until Friday. Historically, that's what happens. But even before then, we have the other offer sheet that no one's really talking about. Granted, it's not $18 million, but you're Barrett Hayton. You're still thinking, hey, man, I'm going to get a pretty big raise here. It's pretty nice. So we'll get to all of that. As always, brought to you by playalberta.ca. Remember, if you do gamble, use your game sense, GameSenseAB.ca to find out how you stay and help you stay within your limits. As we get to the spec report now, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialist. They make your life more enjoyable with running water and indoor plumbing. They're the grinders of construction at GS Construction. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Doing okay. Lots going on. Got offer sheets. Got soccer controversy. I watched a bunch of Spain-Portugal. Of all the World Cup games I've seen so far, it might be the most boring.
There wasn't. Yeah, there was not much going on in that game at all.
How could that be a bad game? I'm watching like Congo play Cote d'Ivoire or whatever they were called, and those games were fantastic. These two world powers play, and it sucked.
Yeah, it was a rare because you know what? Like the games have been great, man. Like some of these games, like that England game last night was unbelievable. Like there has been some absolute killer games, and I guess every now and then you'll get a stinker, but that definitely was a very cautious, low event game between those two teams. Well, I'm curious, there's lots of talk and hype about this U.S.-Belgium game for a lot of the wrong reasons, really nothing to do with what's happening on the pitch other than a guy who's playing who maybe shouldn't be playing. But we'll see. There's two sides of somebody's like, hey, I want the U.S. to lose. And everyone say, yeah, see what it didn't matter. Then others like, no. Have them win so this becomes more of a problem. What do you think?
Yeah, no. I'm firmly on the hoping for a 7-0 Belgium win here. Like the side, there's no doubt for me. It's already, it's a joke. The already, I mean, the question becomes who's more corrupt, FIFA or the U.S. government, right? Like that's a fair question to ask, and we need longer than this show to figure out the answer to it because the history of FIFA is, oh my goodness, corrupt. And we all know what's going on in the U.S. So, for those two to collaborate and put America's best guy back in inexplicably when it wouldn't have happened for anybody else. And I see people out there defending America and all, whatever, like play by the rules or get the hell out of the tournament, getting daddy to, like I said to a buddy online, getting daddy to call the principal, right, to get your guy back in. Like, sorry, I got no time for that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, it's a terrible look because I'm just like, yeah, I don't like it at all. It's never happened. Like even if you don't love the call, you think this is the first time it's ever happened in the history of the sport. And the thing was, though, to me, I kind of thought it was a blatant foul. That's the part about this I don't really understand.
Yeah, I don't like it. Again, what you think, respectfully, what I think, what the freaking president of the United States thinks, it has absolutely no bearing. We're not part of the FIFA disciplinary process that's supposedly been formed over decades and decades, and this is how it works. This is what we do. Like when you cut a guy with a high stick, it's 4 minutes. That's just when you shoot it over the glass. It's 2 minutes. That's just an accepted rule. Lots of us hate that penalty, Jason, right? Lots of us think that there's, we don't love the way the game is called. But once we drop a puck in the Stanley Cup final, we don't start changing the way it's called. Well, I don't think he meant to shoot that puck over the glass. So we're going to give him this time one freebie. Like, how can you run a sport that way? it isn't about whether let's make this clear. This isn't about whether it was a foul or not. That is absolutely irrelevant to this conversation. So, where are we here? The only one more corrupt than these two boneheads is the IOC, and LA is getting the next Summer Olympics. How do you think that's going to work?
Fair. Now let's get to the offer sheets, because before the offer sheet for Carlsson gets played out, I guess unless they stun us and they announced it earlier, but Barrett Hayden was offer sheeted last Wednesday, and so of course they have until this Wednesday to match it. What do you think the Utah Mammoth do at Baden Herod? For those who forgot, he was offered 1-year deal at $4.775 million.
Yeah, and that's only like a second round pick coming back, isn't it? What is it?
It's a smart, that's all it is.
Okay, I'm not giving up Barrett Hayton for a second round pick. Sorry, I'm not doing it. $5 million for 1 year. That's not, to me, that's not insanity. I get it. I'm going to have to qualify him now. That doesn't throw my whole salary structure out of whack. One guy making $4.75 or whatever. Like, I'm keeping that player unless I really don't like him. This isn't Carlsson making 18 and absolutely making, like Elliot Friedman said today, that Pat Verbeek has lost control of the structure of his organization. They are two different things here. So if I'm Utah, I keep Hayton. If I'm Anaheim, oh my goodness, I probably haven't slept in 3 nights, Jay.
Yeah. The Utah one is not is like damning for your organization. You match it. You're like, okay, maybe the guy's getting a little bit more than we wanted. And then you kind of move on. But then honestly, if you look at what Chinnikov and some of these other guys got, you're like, hey, 1 year at 4.75, not a big deal. Right. So I think that one's fairly easy to match, to be honest. But as you've seen the weekend progress and Minchikov signed his deal for 5 years at $7.2 million, and you crunch the numbers on Leo Carlsson. Honestly, Spec, I think the offer sheet, whoever gets him, it's not going to work out well for their organization. He'll be fine. He'll be a good player. I don't doubt that. But it's going to be very difficult to live up to $18 million for the next 5 years. I think it's too hard for a guy who's never scored 70 points yet in his career. Heck, he could score 90 points next year and people would be like, yeah, but that's not enough for an $18 million player. So if you're the Ducks, do you match or do you walk?
Oh, like I say, if I'm Pat Verbeek, I haven't had sleep for 3 nights. I want to let's make this to your first point about the player trying to live up to 18 million. We learned here what happened with Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse did a lot of great stuff here. He was an outstanding leader, a member of the community. They drafted him. He never said a bad word. He was as good a teammate as anyone could ever be. The only holes in Darnell's game, he gave some pucks away, some pucks bounced off and went in. He doesn't think the game the way you want him to think the game. I get all that. I watched him play too. So I know that he wasn't perfect, but morally and as a teammate, you can't be a better person than Darnell Nurse was in so many ways. And he got worn out here because he got paid a couple million extra, right? He became the whipping boy here in Edmonton because he was making, what are we going to agree on, Jay? Maybe $3 million more than he should have made, something like that. Now you're Carlsson, not John Carlsson, sorry, Leo Carlsson. You go to Philly and you are a 75-point player. Wow, sorry, pal. For $18 million, I want 120 points, right?
Oh, dude, yes. 100%.
How are you going to live? I get 80 points, and they're looking at me and saying, they're not looking at Darnell saying you're making 2.5, 3 too many. I'm looking at you saying you're making about $7 million too many. So how's it going to go for him in Philly if he goes there?
Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. I know Flyer fans are super excited right now, and I get it. I understand it.
Yeah,
why
sure.
they would be, but because they want a number 1 center. And so even next year, Philly will get the benefit of the doubt. But then you get to year 2 or 3, and if all of a sudden the guy's got 95 points, guess what? And the team has not taken a step from where they were. This guy's not worth it. And suddenly it's going to turn. It's going to be very difficult I think, to not only build the roster around the player, because let's say Philly gets him. Now they only have $11 million in cap space to sign Zegras and Drysdale, who are both going to arbitration. And when you just look at some of the other contracts that have come out here in the last 48 hours, they're not getting those guys at $5.5 million each. It's not happening. So they've got to, they're going to get their number one center, but then they're going to have to move. Like, I know that there's talk about Sean Couturier, but I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Buy out Sean Couturier? That's not really going to help you that much. So
how the fan base going to love that?
Yeah,
right?
like they're now he's overpaid at this stage of his career. I totally understand it. For 4 years, it's not aging well, but I'm not sure a team's going to take him. So what are they going to do? They're going to have to trade Owen Tippett? Like, I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm fascinated either way to see which team gets Carlsson on Friday.
Yeah, there's this. If these offer sheets ramp up and they become a real thing here, like a guy like Mike Greer, who's got all this young talent, and a team like Chicago that's trying to put together, a bunch of young kids, it's really going to make it difficult. Like either, if Anaheim keeps Carlsson, well, then every other young guy coming up is going to want to get paid. And if Carlsson isn't the leading scorer on that team and he's making $18 million, whoever's got more points than him is going to say, okay, well, what are you paying me? Right. So it makes it really throws, like, we know what St. Louis did to the Oilers. They took away two important young players and left a big fat dent in Edmonton's pipeline, man. They were counting on those two first-round picks, and Edmonton's management and everybody made a lot of mistakes for that to happen. But if this becomes a thing and agents say, look, Leo Carlsson, don't sign for $12 million. There's going to be a $18 million offer sheet coming down the pipe. How are you supposed to GM a team and have a plan? I guess that's what I'd ask you, Jay. How are you supposed to have a whiteboard that goes 2-3 years out, plan your cap, plan your building of your team, plan your structure going forward, when some other GM can come along and do this to you and just blow your whole world up?
Yeah, like I really don't know. Like, I know the cap's going up, but I'm not sure how many other teams are going to want to go that way, because it's just, yeah, you can get the player, but the chance now, I guess they're going to have to weigh it spec, because Philly might never win the cup, but they say, yeah, you know what? There's lots of teams that didn't offer sheet them. They're not going to win the cup either, but our fans are going to love it for 2 years, and we're going to make a lot of money back in jersey sales. Like, I just wonder, they're going to do a lot of ticket sales, jersey sales, and what's the equivalent to how we can make money, because only one team can win every year. And while you say you want to win, this is going to give you the impression that you want to win, but mathematically, it doesn't give you a better chance to win.
Hey, you can be Daryl Cates and look at a team that you bought for, like, I don't know, $300 million that's worth, $4 billion or something now, that had the highest revenue in the league a couple of years ago, is right up there with the Rangers and Leafs. And you could say, man, Daryl, you never won a cup. And he's like, sorry, I can't hear you. I've got several $1 billion in my ears. So, hey, you're right. Everyone wants to win a cup, but make no mistake here, right? From a team standpoint, this is, if you're telling me you're not going to win, but you're going to increase your franchise value and sell millions of dollars in jerseys and sell your building out every night, and now my advertising dollar goes way up, and now my TV dollar goes way up. If I'm the owner of the team, I'm like, sign me up, pal. That's what I'm in this thing for.
Lastly, Spec, the Elks lose their first game of the season. I don't think anybody thought they're going to go undefeated. You know what? There's lots of areas. We had Cody Fajardo on. He's like, hey, man, the guys are pissed. We want to have a bounce back game. And, Thursday night's looking very good weather-wise. The Elks are still 3-1. And if you would ask any Elks fan at the start of the year, if they were 3-1 after 4, they'd be like, yes, sign me up. I'll take it, especially with 3 out of 4 on the road. You are taking on another winless team. Like, I'll just say this. You can't go back-to-back games and lose to teams who have never won. You got to win on Thursday.
Well, listen, this is really the first game of in how many years where we have expectations. The Elks have played in such a fashion that their reward is we expect them to win, right? That's the reward of having a good team and playing good football and being properly managed and coached. And your reward is the expectations go up. Like, I'd sure rather have a team that's got some pressure here and feels like we better win Thursday than be the old Elks where we go, Ottawa's unbeaten or hasn't won yet. That doesn't mean they can't walk in here and win, because that's what we've been saying around here for 4 or 5 years. So good for the Elks. Like, it's a good thing to have expectations. And absolutely, you can't. Hey, they didn't play well against BC. Give BC credit. They were 0-3. They were desperate. They had a nice game. That little running back, Edmonton couldn't stop them. The Elks were not great. They made a lot of mistakes. They weren't very good. Whatever, it happens. I would think that let's see if they're for real. I think they are. And if they are, Thursday shouldn't be a problem. You lose Thursday to a team like Ottawa in your town after you lost already. Yeah, that's a problem.
Spec, have a good one. We will chat with you at May.
Sounds good, brother.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. When we come back, AJ Jakubek will join us. We're talking all things World Cup and mixing a little football and hockey with you on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The Riverhawks are back, and the fun is too. Catch Italian Plumber Video Game Night, Star Wars with a post-game fireworks show, and kids crash the park Sunday with a poster giveaway presented by Save On Foods. Bring the family. Kids tickets from $10 at gohawks.ca.
Boxing Week is back at the Brick. Don't wait until winter. Get blowout pricing now. Save 55% off sofas when you buy the matching piece. Save up to 25% off bedroom and dining. Save up to 40% off select mattresses. Plus, get free local delivery when you use your Flexity card. And buy more, save more. Up to $500 off select major appliances. Don't miss the return of Boxing Week, only at the Brick. Exclusions apply. See in store for details.
We just dropped a massive payload at NISQ 4. It's time to unload some deals at the Truckload of Savings event. If you've been waiting to upgrade, we've backed up the savings with unbeatable offers on our toughest Fords. Right now, haul away exactly what you need and take advantage of massive price drops across our entire lineup, including the legendary Ford F-150 for the job site or the weekend getaway. Shop the Truckload of Savings at nisqford.ca. Nisq Ford, above expectations.
Stay in the know with news on TuneIn. TuneIn brings together news stations from around the world so you can hear what's happening as it happens. From breaking updates to in-depth coverage, it's all in one place. Listen to stations like CNN, BBC World Service, Fox News Radio, MS Now, Sky News, and more to stay connected wherever you are. When the story changes, you'll hear it first. Download the TuneIn app to listen or search news on TuneIn to stay in the know.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Gregor, Declan Kruger, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. I hope you're having a lovely day. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Check out the Jason Gregor Show odds boost specials. Every day we got a little red card drama game, Belgium, USA, some offense for the Jays, maybe, and some early CFL action on a busy week as the Elks on a short week taking on Ottawa on Thursday. As time now to get to our 40 report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling Home. No payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all winter long at legacyheating.ca. And our next guest, man, this guy's been the traveling man all over the place for watching the World Cup, and why not? He's a huge soccer fan from TSN 1200. AJ Jakubek joins us again. Age, how you doing, my man?
Outstanding. Great to be talking footy with you, and especially because I don't really feel like talking about the other football right now. It's another 0-4 start for my Red Blacks. So we're in Edmonton this week. Looking forward to coming home. But yeah, not a lot of lean years. I don't have to tell Edmonton fans about that recently. So yeah, it's been a nice diversion following the World Cup and following Canada the last few weeks.
So now give me your thoughts on the red card drama here. And because I've had some people text in, like, how is this different than when they reduced Ronaldo's 2-game suspension so he could play in the World Cup prior? How what do you see similarities, differences? What do you make of this one?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, and I think, those are fair comments about Ronaldo. Like, clearly he was supposed to serve a 3-game suspension and didn't, so that he was able to be ready to go to play game one in this event. So, look, I think there's I still don't even know if it's a red card or not. So that was my first, it reminds me of 2015. I was calling, FC Edmonton was in the league as well, North American Soccer League, and I was calling the final in New York. The Cosmos had Raul, Marcus Senna. They had all these guys Raul and Marcus Senna were making $1.5 million each, which was more than, I'm sure, FC Edmonton's entire payroll, and certainly it was for the Ottawa Fury at the time. And here they are, they get into the final, and 25 minutes into the game, it was a similar type, kind of an accidental type tackle. Intent wasn't great, and Ottawa got a guy sent off, lost the final. The rest is history. It was interesting because I hated the call, but I talked to, a lot of players after the game, and about 2/3 of them thought it was a red card. So I kind of hate this red card on Balogun as well. You can listen to different pundits say it was a red card. Different ones say it's not a red card. But all that being said, I think, what's happened since and the political interference and, everything that's gone on, I think it threatens to make a bit of a mockery of what has been a fantastic, entertaining, breathtaking tournament, really start to finish. So we'll see how it plays out. But the reality is every game the United States wins from here on in, even if it's a fair above board, is going to be scrutinized. Every little, throw in and everything is going to be scrutinized. Oh, they screwed up this. Oh, look, it's rigged. So to me, it doesn't do the American team any favors, even though he's been probably their best player in this tournament. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how this plays out today, because, certainly to kind of make up the rules as you go along, as they've done here, and they can point to their statutes all they want. This is, not a really good precedent to set, especially when you've got, Saudi Arabia hosting in 8 years, and, is all of a sudden MBS going to go call Infantino when something goes against Saudi Arabia, and it's just not a good look for this tournament at all.
No, not good at all. For Canada, there's only going to be 8 teams when it's all said and done who go farther than Canada. And I'm sure when the tournament started, most people say if Canada got to the round of 16, that would be a bonus, especially when you consider who wasn't playing for them against Morocco, and the fact that they probably, they were the better team in the first half against Morocco. I don't think there's any question about that, and really had the best chance. And if Zimbabwe raises the ball, they're up 1-0, and who knows what happens. But overall, I think it's, it was a really good showing for Canada considering where they're at. And now to take the next step, AJ, is going to be the hardest step, right? To go from being a non-playoff team to a playoff team, well, that's one step. Now to becoming a legit contender and a threat, and maybe you can get into a quarterfinal or something down the road, is going to be extremely difficult. Hell, Italy can't even get in the World Cup, which is wild. But what did you make of Canada's showing, now that you've had a few days after the disappointing loss on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it was a strong. If you look at it just individually and you say, okay, you beat South Africa, you beat, probably the worst team in the tournament in Qatar, you drew Bosnia, you lost to Morocco and Switzerland. Probably everything went as expected. So they didn't upset anybody. They weren't really upset. The Bosnian game, you'd love to get a win instead of a draw, but that wouldn't have changed anything.
No.
You're still going to finish second because you lost to the Swiss. So I think they met expectations. They didn't exceed expectations, but they met expectations, which, given the pressure, given the injuries that you mentioned, given the poor form of some of Canada's top players, you look at Canada's 5 or 6 best players, and Bombito came into this tournament and they didn't even think, some people didn't even think he was going to even be on the 26-man roster. And all of a sudden, he finished the tournament. So you had Bombito. Of course, what happened to Kone was devastating. The Davies situation has been dissected so much over the last couple of days. Tajon Buchanan, Jonathan David, not in great form. David had a terrible season. Ottawa guy had a terrible season at Juventus. And, other than the hat trick, I thought he played reasonably well off the ball, but you're paid to score goals, and he only did so in one game. So when you look at things from that perspective, I think, obviously going into the last World Cup, it was a little bit different. Canada didn't have the depth, but, their best players were kind of firing on all cylinders. And, they just didn't have the depth to, the top teams in that tournament, and they were dealt a really tough group. Now Canada's got a lot more depth, but the top players really weren't going. Alistair Johnston, for me, was Fougereau, quite frankly, wasn't far behind. Eustachio had a really good tournament as well. But, for countries to advance, and you look at Argentina, you look at France, you look at all the top nations right now, their top players are getting it done. You look at England last night against Mexico, and it was Jude Bellingham.
Yep.
Who was another guy who was kind of on the gun in terms of pressure, and some people saying, should they even take Jude Bellingham? Well, yeah, I was kind of shaking my head at that, because you need those players that can break open a game, a little bit of extra quality. That's what Morocco had against Canada. Canada played great, but you need that little bit of extra quality when you're playing the top teams in the knockout stages. So, hopefully 4 years from now, we're talking about a Canadian team. The injuries are going to happen, especially with how ridiculous the calendar can be in international football. And, all the things you play in football as well. It's difficult on the players, and injuries are going to happen. But hopefully there aren't so many important key guys on Canada. They still are going to have a lot of guys in their mid to late 20s, even early 30s, that should be right in their prime in 2030. I expect them to qualify out of CONCACAF with the United States and Mexico, and who knows beyond that. And I think they can make a run. But the difficult part about trying to make, a round of 16 or a quarterfinal is you don't get handed that home draw. Like Japan, great program. That's a top 15 side in the world. They look great throughout the tournament, but you finish second to the Netherlands. Now you get Brazil in the round of 32 and you're out. And Japan somehow still hasn't won a knockout game in the World Cup. So much of it is dependent on the draw as well. And I think it's important these next few years just to keep building the FIFA rankings, get into the low 20s so that you ensure you're in pot 2, you get into pot 3, and now all of a sudden you can have that group of death, and all of a sudden it's a much different tournament for you. So that's why these next few years, and every game, every Nations League game, every Gold Cup game means so much, just to continue to build up those rankings and get set for the next go around of World Cup qualifying, which starts not too far away, basically the fall of 2027.
AJ Jakubek joins us. The one thing I've noticed is having an elite striker is such an advantage, right? Like you look at Norway and you got a guy who's got 7 goals on 10 shots, for goodness sakes. Like Holland's unbelievable. And Canada at times, just their inability and their touch and their finish inside the box, outside the box. They never really had any, deep scoring threats, right? They weren't scoring from distance like some of these other guys can do. Does Canada have any young guys coming up age, do you think, in the system here down the road who could be that striker extraordinaire?
Well, I've got really high hopes for Promise David, and it's unfortunate, and I didn't mention him in terms of Canada's top 5 or 6 players. He's absolutely in that conversation, has had monster years in Belgium. They're expecting a big move for him. And unfortunately, much like Davies and Bombito and some of the others in this tournament, and it worked out a little bit differently. Like, he was on a minutes restriction as well, coming off a major injury. And the fact that he was able to play as well as he did, I mean, that goal was still one of the best goals of the tournament. Unfortunately, it came in a loss, but that goal against the pass across and a tremendous finish from Promise David. Like, he's a real problem for Canada when he's on the park. And so hopefully, he can be injury-free, over the next 3 or 4 years, or at least, doesn't have another major injury like that one, because I think he's primed for a big move. Okay. And I think he's exactly what Canada needs. And then, the bottom line is Jonathan David needs a move. Like, for whatever reason, it didn't work out going to Juventus. He wasn't in good form throughout the season. There's still, I argue with some of my friends about this, that say, oh, he's lost it and he's never going to get it back. It's like, to me, he just had a tough year. He's lacking confidence, but, you could even see him. Yeah, it was against Qatar, but, there were a couple of world-class strikes in that game against Qatar as well. I don't care who they're playing. So he needs to get to a spot where he's playing again, building that confidence. And to me, if you've got a Promise David, Jonathan David strike partnership going into the next World Cup, Larin's probably going to age out. He's going to be 35. Oluwaseyi, I think, is a useful player. It does a lot of things well, but he can't hit the broad side of the barn. And you kind of need that as a striker. And Daniel Jebuson's another player that's an interesting one. He's still just 22 years old, committed to the program, probably one of Canada's last cuts. It's unfortunate. We'll see where his career path goes. He's still young, a lot of promise. Thought he played really well the last game, earned a penalty against Iceland in March in one of the friendlies, and I think there's a lot to like there. And, more of a winger type, but a guy that's going to be an attacking player, and someone that, quite frankly, has the skill, that ball in the final third to give the service to a Jonathan David, to a Promise David. It was lacking. We saw it as soon as Alphonso Davies came on against South Africa, and how it opened things up. And Marcelo Flores was another real tough injury for Canada. I know he hasn't played much, but you could see the impact when he played in his friendlies for Canada in March. And he's just the type of player that Canada doesn't have a lot of. So I do think there's some really good young players and attacking players coming, and to go along with, the back line where you think, okay, if healthy, Bombito and Defougerol, there you go. You're set there. Alistair Johnston, can't say enough of what he brought to the table. And, at left back, we'll see if, hopefully Davies is able to get through this. That's the $1 million question, because you look at a guy like Josh Norris in Ottawa with the Senators, and eventually it was just recurring injury after recurring injury, and eventually the Sens just moved off of him. And for Davies, it has to be so frustrating. I can't even imagine what he's going, the mental part of probably not trusting that his body can get through, 20, 30 minutes, let alone 90. And hopefully that's something that can build up again, and he can have, a couple of injury-free seasons, because, he is a world-class talent when he's healthy. And that was really unfortunate how it played out for him and for the country over the course of the World Cup.
Age quickly to the Red Blacks. They come into Edmonton, obviously their own 4. They've got some struggles. They had that second half 2 weeks ago. Like, okay, maybe they're coming on, but hasn't been the case. What do they got to do to end the losing on Thursday night?
Well, they got to play complementary 3-phase football. The unfortunate thing for Ottawa, I guess it changes a little bit with some injuries around the league, especially to Bo Levi Mitchell. But, to start the season, they lose the quarterback, Matt. To Jake Mayer, you're not asking Jake Mayer to be better than Nathan Rourke, Bo Levi Mitchell. He just needs to go out and and do his job. But it's complementary football. If you don't win the quarterback battle, you better be playing really well on defense and on special teams. And just too many gaffes early in the season. They're dreadful in short yardage. And I think some of that is O-line related, but it feels like they've already lost confidence, that they don't believe they can gain, even a half a yard, which in the CFL, yard off the ball, you should be able to get that in your sleep. Just the kick return for a touchdown. You like you said, you played really good football against Montreal second half, gave your team some hope. You're up 10-0 against Saskatchewan. They start to make a comeback, and then you gift them a punt return for a touchdown where Noah Getman had a swing and a miss and a bad one. The punter he didn't try enough. Let's put it that way. And in trying to make the tackle. So it's just different little things every week. A badly timed penalty here, a miscommunication there. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I believe in the hire that they made with Ryan Dinwiddie as coach and general manager. And maybe it's going to take a little bit more time because there's been a lot of turnover in the off season. I like their roster, but the O-line hasn't been good enough so far. And, they need mistakes because, again, it's Cody Fajardo against Jake Mayer this week. I don't care who you are. You're going to say, well, Cody Fajardo's got the edge. So Ottawa has to be better in a lot of different areas if they're going to win this football game this week. And it doesn't get any easier because Winnipeg at home, okay, that might be a bit of a softer touch, but then you play Montreal and Saskatchewan again. So, I don't know. I'm enjoying the soccer. Let's put it that way. And I'll be ready to go to call that game on Thursday night. It's always a pleasure to call games at Commonwealth Stadium where I grew up watching the likes of Jim Germany and Warren Moon and Dave Fennell and Dan Kepley and all those legends from the early 80s that won 5 in a row. I'll be ready to go for that. But it's been tough because 27 wins since Trevor Harris left the Ottawa Redblacks. That's 2018. That's a long time. That's too much bad football. And at 0-4 to start the season doesn't give you a lot of hope that they're going to make the playoffs. Even if we're in next year's format, Jason, where 8 out of 9 make it, I'm not sure I'd have a lot of faith right now. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes on Thursday night.
Awesome, Age. Well, we'll see you at the game, man. Appreciate your time. Have an awesome one.
Yeah, anytime, Jason. Cheers.
There you go. That's AJ Jakubek joining us from TSN 1200 in Ottawa. We'll come back, wrap things up with Cam Tate on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Kickoff is coming July 9th. Elks, Red Blacks at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Salute to Service presented by YEG Plus. Help us celebrate the heroes and first responders who make our communities great. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Cheering on Canada, Mexico, Australia, France, England, Brazil, Germany, Spain, and the rest of the world at the Druid Irish Pub.
Your World Cup headquarters.
Wear your colors, cheer on your team, and enjoy $6.50 Heineken every game.
Plus, your chance to win a ton of World Cup merch,
including hoodies, jerseys, soccer balls, and more.
The Druid Irish Pub, your World Cup headquarters.
Bringing Edmonton together, one soccer game at a time.
The Druid Irish Pub.
Cheer with us in the Mercer Building across from Rogers Place and Ice District.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Bashaw Concrete products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
We the best music. Another one. DJ Khaled.
Yeah, you're looking at the truth, the money never lie. No, I'm the one, yeah. I'm the one early morning in the dawn. No, you want
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Druid Irish Pub, Edmonton's favorite soccer. The Druid Irish Pub is back in the Ice District across from Rogers Place. Watch all the games with 650 Heineken only at the Druid Irish Pub.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
547. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Declan Kerr with you as we get to Cam Tate and the 2-minute warning. Of course, Cam, born with cerebral palsy, he's been in a wheelchair his whole life, but Cam's never let him slow him down. 40 plus years in the media industry. He's always wanted to be in radio. Now he is. Through the wonder of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
Good afternoon, folks. 2-minute warning, and we've got a real crisis on our hands here in Elks country. Justin Rankin's had a little trouble hanging on to the football lately. So we here at the show got to thinking, maybe the man just needs some pointers on the fine art of holding on to things. Now, my producers suggested Rankin watch Titanic. Get it? It's a movie about hanging on. Jack hangs on, Rose hangs on. Well, actually, Rose does not hang on. She's got the whole door to herself and lets the man freeze to death in the North Atlantic. So maybe scratch that one. But that got us thinking of a few other tips. Here we go. 8. Have him hold the football the way Leonardo DiCaprio holds on to not winning an Oscar for a decade. White-knuckled, bitter, and refusing to let it go under any circumstances. 7. Strap a tiny GPS tracker to the ball and tell Rankin it's actually his firstborn child. Nothing hangs on tighter than a man who thinks Child Protective Services is watching. 6. Tell him to hold the football the way any ex holds a grudge. Permanently, irrationally, and with zero chance of ever letting go. 5. Crazy glue. Little dab on each palm before kickoff. Sure, it's a 15-yard penalty and a trip to the ER, but that ball is not going anywhere. 4. Rankin should just picture the football as his phone at 1% battery with no charger in sight. You will protect that thing with your life. 3. Velcro mitts. Illegal? Absolutely. Effective? We'll never know because nobody's dumb enough to try it, except maybe Rankin at this point. 2. Have him hold the ball the way Ottawa holds on to their playoff hopes. Desperately and against all evidence that it's working out. And the number one way to help Justin Rankin hang on to the football? 1. Just remind him, it's Thursday night football. The Elks are hosting Ottawa, and nobody wants to be the guy who fumbled at home. Nothing motivates like the home crowd's collective groan. There you have it. Good luck Thursday, Justin. And please, for the love of the game, 2 hands. 2-minute warning. This is Cam Tate.
It is. It's fair to say that it's an issue. It's fumbled in 3 consecutive games now. So and that one, I thought, okay, you know what? Sometimes the guy hits you from behind. Still, you're always supposed to tuck it in. I understand it, but that one, Dak, like that should never be a fumble.
We had a nice long discussion about this on Elks Nation this morning because you had actually asked Eddie and I both if we thought his fumbles were an issue, and we kind of said, nah, not really. This was the one that made us wake up and realize that being on pace for 14 fumbles in a season when you have 3 and 4 games is an unsustainable pace. So, and Eddie made a really good point. Like he's doing it because he's trying to do too much. He's going to east-west. He's going east-west when all he needs to do is hold the ball and kind of move north-south. So it's definitely an issue, something to watch on. And I like Cam's suggestions.
It's, you know what? Hey, it's a long season, but you don't want to get fumbleitis. Now he touches the ball a ton. I think he's had the most touches in the league. So hey, when you touch the ball the most, it's going to happen every now and then, and so you'll live with it. But it just can't happen at the rate of frequency that it's happened lately for him. So we'll see if there's some improvements with that. Hey, Greg's. Do you think more teams should force the hand of their opponent without a risk? Look at New Jersey, for instance. If they don't get Barrett Hayton, no harm, no foul. They don't have to give up anything. And now it puts a little bit of the screws to Utah. That one comes from the coach. Well, you know, it's a fair question. And people have asked about it. Like, I think there's a big difference in the Barrett Hayton offer sheet compared to the Leo Carlsson offer sheet. Now, obviously, Leo Carlsson's a better player. I don't discount that. But if you get Barrett Hayton in your New Jersey, 4.775 for that player, you look and say, you know what? We think he can help us. Obviously, you're not going to offer sheet someone just for the hope that it screws the other team. You want to do it because you think the player can help your team. But I think there's a level of it. I look at this one by the Flyers, and I still feel it was a massive reach, and it's a little bit desperation. Because the trickle-down effects and the long-term impact on your salary cap for your organization and your ability to build a winner just makes it so much harder. And honestly, like, how good will he be? Because a lot of people are like, you know what? Maybe he's going to be Barkov. I'm like, God, if he could be Barkov, that would be phenomenal. I think everybody would look and say, man, but Barkov is like elite. You know, big body, great. But guess what? Barkov, he's had 1 90-point season. He's a really good player. No one discounts it at all, right? Really good player. But, you know, he was a $10 million player, not an $18 million player. $10 million player when they won, the cap was $88 million the last time they won the cup. So he was 10 out of 88. Well, now you're 18. The percentage isn't even close. Right? Like, you got to get to 158 million salary cap to be equivalent in value just based on Barkov alone. If you're going to look and say, well, you know what? If he's only a 90-point guy, yeah, but, you know, when the cap's 158 million, it's the same. And I'm like, okay, I'll get that. Then look at Anze Kopitar, right? Skill player, again, one-time 90-point player. 80-point guy once. 70 is a lot. Really good player. Now, maybe he'll be better, but keep in mind that Anze Kopitar had 77 points in his second year in the league. Then he had 81 in his fourth year in the league, and never got to better than that until 6, 8, 10 in year 12 when he got to 92. It's not just an automatic that Leo Carlsson's going to go and be a 100-point guy. I hope he is, because I love offense. I think you always have to be realistic in what you think a player is going to become. It's maybe he'll be, but if you're comparing him just to Kopitar and Barkov, okay. But if it's other thing, we'll see. I know, hey, Leon Draisaitl pumped it up, right? But he's become basically a regular 100-point guy. So Coming up tomorrow, Tom Gazzola will find out. Did the Americans beat the Belgians? Also, we'll have more on the Elks and the Lions. We do have one little fun non-hockey or football conversation tomorrow. Have yourselves a great day. On behalf of Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson, I'm Jason Gregor. Enjoy your Monday evening. Enjoy the sun and the warmth. Let's get to Declan and Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto, your one-stop shop, goauto.ca. They have over 15,000 vehicles for you to shop and choose from. Any color you want, they got it. goauto.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Of course, around the majors, the Yankees lead the race 3-0 in. At the bottom of the fifth, Astros and Nats tied 6-6 in the bottom of the fourth. Braves lead the Mets 2-1, and the Brewers and Cards tied 0-0 at the bottom of the first. The only final from today saw the Royals over the Phillies 15-1. The Royals with 22 hits and no errors in that one. Blue Jays will play the Giants at 7:45. You can hear that one on Sports 1440 AM dial only. Kevin Gosman on the mound for the Jays. In the World Cup earlier today, Spain beat Portugal 1-0. The next game set to kick off in about 4 minutes' time here between Belgium and the United States. From around the sporting world, in the NBA, Nikola Jokic opting to wait on a Nuggets extension until next summer, while DeMar DeRozan has been waived by the Kings and will become a free agent. In the NHL, Simone Nemec signing a 5-year, $36.25 million contract, and Jason Robertson, Trevor Zegras, and Jamie Drysdale among 15 players in the NHL to file for arbitration. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to